There we go. Hey, what's up, y'all? Good morning. I get, okay, fine. Good afternoon. All right. I get it. It's okay. All right. How y'all doing today? I'm having a wonderful morning. Okay, again, it's afternoon, but it's morning, all right? It's early here. So hopefully everyone is doing well today. I'm cold. Other than that, I'm doing really well. So welcome to the Ask the Elephant. Basically, your chance to hang out with me for some amount of time. Ask me questions. They can be game related, they could be life related, they could be personal questions. I reserve the right to refuse to answer any of them, and I'll do the best I can to answer as many as I can, if not all of them. So we'll see how it goes. All right, cool. So welcome, everybody. By the way, funny thing, this thing kept changing numbers on me, like random, right? If you'd hit the pause button, that'd probably stop that from happening. Sometimes it's really the simplest thing. So I had to update this because the numbers are getting bigger. Yay. But I was like, when I went to update it, I was like, oh, yeah, forgot to hit pause. It happens. So I'm just glad I figured it out because it was killing me. I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Why? And then it stopped because I hit pause. Technology and me sometimes. What can you do? All right, let's get started. Corey, good morning. Says, good morning, Edward. Good morning, Corey. Happy Sunday. You as well. My Cowboys don't play till tomorrow night. That's why I'm doing this today. Full disclosure. There you go. I'm curious to know if anything you have played since your last top 50 of Right Now podcast would have made it onto the list. And Assam. Trying here. Is it Assam? Says, ooh, good question. I agree. So basically what you're trying to ask me, Corey, is, hey, what's your top 50? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I hear you. A lot of people have been asking me to update and do a new top 50. And I think that'd be a great podcast. I think we will do that. But when I saw the question pop up a little while ago, I was like, yeah, I'm sure there are games that would. I'm not going to give any definitive answers because that would kind of let the cat out of the bag. Duh. But let me go through. So I can't remember what I played last week, much less things. There's just too much churn to where I can't keep it all straight. I'm being honest. And I don't care how good it is, it's still not going to stick in here because there's just too much. And so that said, I'll go back a couple of months, and I was going through this. So I'm just going to throw out possibilities, okay? So Tawantinsuyu, Mage Knights, and it's possible I missed some. So don't be like, ooh, he didn't say that one. Don't read into that. I'm just saying. Let's see. I played a lot of Tawantinsuyu and Mage Knight lately, apparently. Beyond the Sun, Yin Yang, Search for Planet X, Field Commander Rommel, not going to make the list. I'm still going back. The Cost, Tekenu, Tales of the Northland, Sagas of Naga and the Nog. I can't remember whether or not that was on the list, but that's definitely a possibility because the solo was fantastic. Not saying the multiplayer wasn't. I'm just, again, going back through the timeline. 1862 is going to be on that list. There you go. That's a definitive. Could Colonial Twilight make that list? I'm pretty sure a small city's already on there. Obviously, Age of Steam or at Labora. Peloponnesian War, it could be in the discussion. The Hunters could be in the discussion. So there you go. I'm not going to go back a year, but that gives you an idea. Like, there are definitely some games that could make the list, that will be in the first cut. And how I make the top 50 list, I don't know how. I'm curious how y'all do it, actually. If you've ever tried. If you've played a lot of games, I would challenge you to try this exercise because it is far harder than you think it probably is. What I do is I go through basically my playthroughs from the last couple of years and other games, and then I walk around the library and be like, I just write down games that could possibly make that list, my top 50, and I just write them down. And sometimes it's over 100, sometimes it's 80, sometimes whatever. I just write them down without much thought. And then I look at my list. And then I'm like, yes or no. And if it's like, no. Okay, then if it's and I'm at 80, then isn't going to make the list. So I cut that out. And that trims it down. And then those final cuts are extraordinarily brutal to make a top 50. And then from there, once I get close to the top 50, then what I do is I start trying to do the top 20, the ones that I think will be in the top 20, and see if any of that cuts out some of the last ones. And then it's a matter of, okay, what games that I know are in my top 20 there? And usually that ends up being like 30 games, and it's excruciatingly difficult to do because I try and take it serious. Like, I could just be like, who cares? Throw that. No, I give it. That might be the hardest list to come up with, I would say, because I know a lot of you guys it lends a lot of credence. How do I word that? You guys put a lot of stock in my top 50. So if you do, then I have a responsibility to you to take it serious. And I very much do. So that's why it's a once a year thing, honestly, because that thing is really hard to put together. If you've never tried it, I challenge all of you out there to do it. It's going to take you hours. If you take it serious, I think it's going to take you hours. But it's a pretty cool process, especially for those that try and keep their game library manageable to a reasonable size. I think that is an important challenge and an important thing to try and do because it makes you really stop and think, what's important to me? Why is this game on this list? Should it be on this list? Now, obviously, thinky fillers, expansions, stuff like that, I don't put on that, but you can adjust it accordingly, however you want. So there you go. I hope that answers, at least, if not answers, at least helps a little bit with that. Maybe gives a little bit, because I'm not going to give direct answers to that one. I'm sorry, Corey. Hi, Frank. Good morning. Orange Pico, British Brunch for the second one. Stefan asks, can you say who of any of the upcoming podcast guests might be? No, because I don't know. I don't have anybody lined up right now. So, that said, if you think you would be good on the podcast and you have a game in which you think you would like to discuss, feel free to reach out. Email me. I don't want it any other way. Email me, contact@heavycardboard.com. Chip says, hoping for a poker update. So, what is there to update? Okay, done. Rich says, the Golden Elephant Awards show was very well done. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. Put a lot of work into that. Also, the winner was also my number one choice. Great show, Edward. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate you not spoiling it. Well done, Rich, for those that haven't watched it yet. There you go. I think it was an interesting discussion. There has been a follow-up lengthy discussion in the Heavy Cardboard Slack about that, and how there was discussion how, as the judging panel has gotten bigger, is there less of a chance of a war game or an 18xx to be named a finalist or to ever win? And because it got highlighted this year that there was no 18xx and there was no war game as a finalist this year. And there was discussion because some on the panel, on the judging panel, have very little, if no interest in an 18xx or a war game. And my answer to that is, no, I don't think that's right. I think there is still as good a chance, maybe not as good a chance, because when it was two people, it's, but I would say there is still a strong chance that that could happen. And here's why. 2020 has been a whack year. You guys know that. And it affected everything. I mean, I can't imagine a single thing in life that 2020 has not impacted in some way. And our ability to get together and play games was nil starting in March, right? So, yes, we could play a game like 1882 online. And yes, theoretically, we could try and play Nevsky or something like that over Skype or over Zoom or something. Is that going to give us the same feel as playing in person? No. So it's unfortunate that games like that kind of got short shrift. But I'm going to go ahead and beg out on that and say, you know what? 2020 kind of caused that. I'm not one to make a lot of excuses. I think that's a fair one, though. And so you look at last year, Cataclysm, that made it as a finalist. The year before that, 18CZ and Time of Crisis made it as a finalist. 1822 won one year, and that had 160 copies in existence. So no, I think it's pretty fair to say that just because some of the judges aren't keen on that doesn't mean there aren't enough there that if it was voted upon strongly, then yeah, there's a good chance that an 18xx or a war game can win. Because, I mean, the whole, tagline for the show is medium and heavy, strategy, war games, 18xx. 2020 was just a weird year. So I feel pretty good about the games that were named as finalists and the winner. I'm okay with this. I feel really good about that. There was also some discussion about, hey, maybe you should branch out and do best thinky filler or best this or best that. No. One award. I'm good. I mean, if you want something like that, the Dice Tower is great, right? They have like a bunch of different categories. Or the Golden Geek Awards. These things, right? You can, they give these out like candy, or so I'm told, right? Sorry. They don't. Just, it's for the haters. But I think keeping it where it is for the foreseeable future, I feel pretty good about that, and I'm okay with that. So we still discussed games like Yin Yang, The Crew. We discussed, there was one big omission that people were pretty upset about that I'll bring up. I'm trying to think, other like midweight games that we talked about. Formosa Tea was another one that got discussion, right? But the big one that, like, it seems that, I don't know that it was brought up ever on the entire show. And I don't know that it was an oversight, or I think it's a fine game. And that's Maracaibo. People were really upset that it was never brought up. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a solid game. Would I put it above any of the finalists? No. And I'll be honest, not one of the judges had it on their finalist list. Now, Some judges had 4 games on their list. Others had 8 games on their list. So there's no rule as to how many you're allowed to submit, and there's no limit, and there's no hard fast rule on how many can be finalists, because I feel like that's artificial. Oh, there can be 5 finalists. Maybe a game that's deserving gets cut off that one year, or maybe there's only 3. So do we put 2 on there that should? No, it is what it is, and that's how many are there. So, sorry we didn't mention Maracaibo. Very, very solid, enjoyable game. Nothing wrong with it. Somebody else also pointed out that all of the finalists had sponsored playthroughs. To that, I say, if my integrity is in question, then you shouldn't care about the Golden Elephant Award. You shouldn't care about anything that we do on Heavy Cardboard, and you shouldn't care about the reviews. I don't know what to tell you. But, nope, that had 0 impact on it. Because this just in, those sponsored playthroughs, not a single judge gets anything out of that. So if you think someone's biased, it would have to be me, and I'm 1/9 of the voting process in that case. But I don't think that's the case at all, but figure I'd throw that out there. All right, let's move on. Patron, sir, this number, I'm finally getting around to updating it with annual patrons as well as monthly. So, yay. Thank you. Hey, if you guys enjoy it, give it a thumb down below, subscribe. You want to support the show, you can go to pledgehc.com. And the People's Choice Award was announced during the Golden Elephant Award as well. Yay. And it's cold here. It's pretty chilly. Wow, I am already way behind. Shock. Yeah, it's chilly. Feels good, though. Good sweater weather, right? Oh, Genway said parts of Iowa snowed. I'm not ready for that. I wouldn't be either. And it was upper 30s here last night. So, yeah, all right. Schoolboy Edward. Is it because the hair? Like, instead of the faux hawk, Jess suggested I grow it out a little. And, man, I don't care. No matter how short I shave it now, the gray is coming through pretty rough. But it's chrome. It's not gray. Will we see you cover alma mater? A moment. Let's look it up. I don't know it. From Eggert Spiel. And it has 44 different designers. Okay, it has 5 different designers. But that always strikes me as odd. Does it, anybody, like, how do you do that? Or is it just people that, oh, hey, had a good idea, included it, so they got design credit? I don't know how that works. I know nothing about this game. Okay, full disclosure, and I apologize. I'm going to update this because Spiel's coming up this weekend, next weekend. I haven't looked. 0, zilch, nada. I cannot answer any questions on that because I realize Spiel is my Christmas. But this year it really doesn't feel like it, does it? Like right now, let's see, this is Sunday before Spiel. We'd be like in Italy or Poland or the Netherlands. We'd be somewhere over there acclimating to the time change and visiting friends right now if this were a normal year. So that sucks, right? But I mean, we all make sacrifices. We've all had 2020 affect us, like I said earlier. So it's a bummer. But it's just really hard to get excited about it because normally, I mean, I'm getting ready to move a pallet of games back home next week, right? Normally I would be, but not this year. So if you have Spiel questions, I got nothing. And maybe I should have looked that up before I did the Ask the Elephant today, but I wanted it to be genuine. I didn't want to cram for that because I feel like I can't be the only one that's like, on virtual cons. I just can't be bothered. I just can't. I couldn't care less. And if that makes me a bad person, then I guess I'm a bad person. But I just can't. I can't get myself to care because I don't. No. Now, that said, have we been asked to do some stuff? A couple of things. Like I'm going to get together with Rainer over on Board and Dice to talk about some stuff. So if you look between, what is today? Today's Sunday. Between now and Thursday, I will have crammed for Spiel. And then on Friday night, way late, we're going to do like a Haba After Dark with our friend T, who runs basically Haba US marketing. And I think they actually run Haba US. T's a friend, reached out and said, hey, will you want to do something? And like, Haba After Dark. We were like, yeah, let's do it. So like 11 o'clock at night on Friday night, Eastern time, we're going to do some stuff. But that's it. That's my spiel. Whee! I mean, I'm looking forward to those two. Don't get me wrong. Just hard to get excited about an online convention. Still don't know what the hell they are. They've been explained. Meh. So to answer your question, will I cover Alma Mater? If I get a copy, yes. Looks cool. Looks interesting. Has players serving as a headmaster of one of the independent universities in the 15th century. Players seeking to strengthen their school's reputation and standing. We got spirit. How about you? To achieve these goals, players need to recruit the best staff and students, exchange knowledge with other schools, and become experts in the school's 4 disciplines. From that description, I feel like that could have been made into a million different settings. See, I almost called it a theme. It's not. It's a pasted on setting. Thank you, Martin. So, all right. But yeah, will we? Maybe. Genway. Y'all got to keep me off of going on these tangents. All that came from Genway just asking, hey, you going to cover Alma Mater? And then it became this big diatribe about online conventions, Spiel, and that's why you guys are here, let's be honest. You guys like seeing where I'm going to go with stuff. Because let's face it, these are never short. Ian says, good afternoon, Edward. Good afternoon, Ian. I hope your day is going well. With all the teasing in the backgrounds of videos, are you planning on doing a playthrough of from Splatter sometime? Why would you think that? I don't know. Yes. Yes, I am. In fact, going to try and get a playthrough of it, play of it this week. And then maybe stream it, not this coming week, but the following week. I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. So this week's going to be a little bit lighter content-wise this coming week. And in fact, the weekly look ahead's not going to be till Tuesday because I want to see how I feel for tomorrow before I commit to stuff for this week. Because I don't like bailing on things. But yeah, Ethan Millay actually sent me his copy. That's his copy back there because I don't own 1830 BC. But yes, everything you see behind me. Playthroughs coming up sooner rather than later. Oh, and then Genway says, are we going to see you cover Alma Mater or other Spiel release titles? Undoubtedly, yes. When and what? Hell if I know. Stefan says, glad to see the numbers growing. You could have said our numbers. It's an our thing. It's a us. Patrons, me and patrons, we're in this together. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, Tropical Penguin. Are you doing anything special for Essen? I think I answered that. What are some of your hobby pet peeves? So, it's Guy, but is it Guy? because I know he's Canadian. So it could be French Canadian with that name. So I'm going with Guy. I'm going with Guy. Tell me if I'm wrong. And in an hour, when I scroll down and see it, let me know if I'm right. So Guy says, what are some of your hobby pet peeves? I'm going to assume, I was going to go a million different ways with this when I saw this question. But I assume you mean board gaming pet peeves. Media pet peeves. It's cliquish, and there are a lot of phony people out there. There's that. So that's the industry side of it. It's like high school in some regards. The gossip is gross. I'm a 45-year-old man. I ain't got time for that. All right. But board gaming pet peeves. Let's see. People that teach games that hold back rules. Now, I don't mean hold back like in their way of teaching, like, okay, this is all you need to know right now, so we're going to get started. Because I take somebody like Paul Grogan, Gaming Rules. The way he teaches is he teaches a little bit and then you get started, and then as you go, teaches along, because he does a lot of demoing at conventions and stuff like that. That is not a style that fits with me, but I appreciate that. I can understand that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are those douche canoes that will teach you, and then that one gotcha rule. Oh yeah, by the way, that had you known that from the beginning would have completely changed your game, and he did that, or they did that, just to be able to win. Just don't do that. So that would be pet peeve number 1. Pet peeve number 2, let's see. Crappy rule books, but then again, job security. So, let's see, other pet peeves. Just bad winners and bad losers. I would argue a bad winner is worse than a bad loser. But they both suck, so don't be them. There's that. I'll think about the rest of that. I'm sure there are a plethora of others, but we'll get started with that. All right? We'll do that. Have I played PAX Premier 2nd Edition solo? Not yet. I need to. So, I don't have thoughts on it. I want to play it. On the podcast, Dan asks, you mentioned South African Railways will be widely released. What makes it interesting to you? I'm excited for more cube rails. Thanks. I've never played it, South African Rails. Is it, oh God, South African Railways, South African Rails? I think it's Railways. I think you're right. The original Winsome title. I've never played it. I know very little about it. What I do know is every time, and I do mean every time I've heard somebody talk about it, it's been positive, no matter who talks about it. So I want to play it, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't have a copy of it. It's impossible to get. And I've heard that it's going to be coming out. Although, no, you know what? I can't really say more than that. So there you go. Frank says, heard rumors that Ion Game BIOS errata cards contain errata. Any information on this, if true? I know nothing. And that's not me, like, trying to, like... They're a partner with Heavy Cardboard in that we do sponsor playthroughs for their games. More than that, that's my connection with them. Obviously, Jess is their marketing director, their international marketing director. So there's that, but genuinely, I try and stay out of that because I don't need to know. No. If there's something that I can tell you that would be beneficial for y'all, I'd tell you, but I don't know. So I apologize, but I don't know. Ask them. Yeah, I would say reach out to Ion over on their Discord channel or email or whatever. That's what I would recommend. So I got nothing, Frank. Sorry. Genway says, Janway says, my Bears are playing in half an hour. Cowboys tomorrow night. I fully expect my Cowboys to get smoked like a pack of cools because Dak's out, and I think our defense is going to have a hell of a time containing their quarterback. Shakir asks, any up-and-coming Q4 2020 titles you're excited about, which you have not played yet? I'm sure there are. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are. And in fact, hold on. Let me, my handy-dandy trusted little notebook. Let me see. I actually have some notes in here. The new Kanban I should have soon, so I'm looking forward to that. I really want to see how Ian, because wasn't it Ian that said in one of my conversations that he and I sat down with, where he said he would love to have a crack at Kanban's board and see what he could do with it, and he got his chance, so I'm excited about that. I have not seen or played either of the Ion Game Design Kickstarter games that are coming. They're coming to Kickstarter, so they're not 2020, but they're good. The Kickstarter is going to be in 2020. So BIOS what is it? BIOS Mega, not Mega Font, but the new one, and Galena or Gallon. I haven't seen either of those yet, but I'm going to soon, so I'm curious to see those. Promenade, if you guys remember, that was in a super tiny release overseas. Rio Grande is bringing that out. I think that might have slid into 2021, though, called Art Deco. Looking forward to seeing that one, seeing the new artwork on that. Imperial Steam from Capstone. Now, obviously, I have notes from my partners, so there's that. Cloudage, I'm curious to see. Imperial Steam. Some other stuff I can't talk about yet. But yeah. So, again, I don't have a whole lot of what else, but I'm curious if you guys list some games. I'm curious to see what you want us to cover. That would be good. I would like to see that. And yes, basically that makes my job a little bit easier. So I'm curious. But if you recommend it and you're curious about it, then there's a better chance if you tell me that I check into it and can procure a copy and probably show it off for y'all. So symbiotic, right? Eric, yes. Since there was no HeavyCon last year, along with Patreon awards, all that's going out. Ooh, yes. The Praga Kaput Regni is another one. I forgot about that. Yes, that is definitely going to happen. And Hallertau, that's the new. I think that's the new Uwe Rosenberg. We'll see, because me and Uwe since 2014. So we'll see. Elbonio, yeah, go with that. Hi, Edward, I think is what he meant. I've never seen Twilight Imperium mentioned on Heavy Cardboard. I think it's been mentioned like twice, ever, but yeah. What's the reason for this? It's quite surprising considering its notoriety. What's your opinion on Twilight Imperium? My opinion is, never played it, I don't own it. Would I play it? Sure. Once we start having more and more people back to the studio, is it possible we stream it? Sure. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. I know, like when we did the playthrough the other night over on IV Games, Veil Fate, Becca Scott, Becca Scott, and who else? Was it Mark? Streed? I feel like there were 2 or 3 people that said Twilight Imperium's their favorite game. Never played it. Not really jonesing to play it, but I would for the show. It's just not my cup of tea. But I don't think, from what I've heard about it. But I'm willing to give it a try. So that's all. That's the only reason. Good afternoon, Gooserino. Funny you asked this, Ian. Ian asks, would you do a podcast on top solo games? Or do you think it would be too similar to your top 50 to warrant a whole episode? Funny you mentioned that. So I was of the mind that I really shouldn't do a top solo game episode because I don't feel like I've played that many of them. And Jess corrected me and was like, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are getting into or curious about solo games, so why not document your process through this? And I was like, damn, that's a good point. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a solo podcast, this one. It's going to come out not on Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, because this Tuesday is going to be the Splatter one. Everything got slid a week. And so that's going to be my beginnings into solo games. It's not going to be a definitive list because there are a ton of games out there that play well solo or that are solitaire games that I haven't gotten to yet. So it's not going to be a definitive list, but it's going to be kind of hey, here's where I'm at and here's how I got into it and here's my thoughts and to talk about it a bit and some of my favorites so far. So I don't know that it's going to be a top. It's just going to be that kind of discussion. So yeah, that's definitely coming, and it's going to be coming in 2 weeks, a week and a half, in fact. So yeah. And then later on, as I get more and more of these played, I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to have like JT on and maybe a third guest host as well to talk solo games, because somebody like JT Bergstrom, there are a number of, famous solo board game folk out there that I think would be good to have on the show to talk about that and to get multiple points of view and not just mine. So that's also planned for down the road. So I guess double back, upcoming guests, there you go. But that's going to be a down the road thing when I have more solo games under my belt so that I can contribute more from that regard. I think the first one is just going to be a solitaire podcast, just me talking about solo games. See what I did there? Okay. Kanban, EV, or Rococo? Both, yes. I see Bios Genesis behind you. Is it coming soon? Uh-huh. Oh, thanks for not making me spit all over the table, Gooserino. My top 50 just happens to have about 107 games on it. Syntheres, with Essen Digital starting soon, do you have any new games coming in the mail from publishers? We'll see. We'll see what arrives. Shrey, my top 50 are strictly based on my ratings on BGG. Simple. Cheater. All right, so Asem says, so during the Golden Elephant live stream, I mentioned to Chad I was having some trouble finding nearby gamers to form a group with, and one of them suggested a look at the map of Patreon backers, they're not Patreon backers. It's just people that, listeners, fans, viewers, whatever you want to call them, many of which are probably patrons, the map, the Herd Around the World map. Can't seem to find it. Give me a minute, and I will grab that. Give me 1 second. I need to remember where that is. Let me see. I know this makes for compelling TV. I understand. Give me just a second, though, y'all. Ah, there it is. Found it. Now, let me see how to get a link for it. Give me just a second. Let's see. Oh, there it is. There's a share button. Hold on. Copy. There we go. There it is. Oh, apparently Vince just posted it. So there you go. See, you ask. There you go. Cool. Good deal. All right. I didn't know any of the mods were in here. Okay. Yes, Jess, I know. All right, let's see. Ian, I made my cup of tea too early. Finished it before this even started. All that means is you can go make more. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get back, Ian. Martin Fowler. My top 20 was pretty easy. It helps to have played less games. Yeah, fair. The top 19. Oh, wow. Guy is going deep. Says, sorry if it's too heavy, no pun intended. Or no pun included. Oh. What have you learned about yourself from running heavy cardboard? Good God. Well, let's see. I have good instincts. Poker taught me this, but this also it's also true with this. My gut is never wrong. Ever. I procrastinate too much at times. It's let's see, what else has it taught me? I work better live than recorded. I have no problem doing this live in front of the camera. And I had it's funny. If you guys ever saw me the 10, 15 minutes right before stream, I tend to get a little frenetic, might be a good way, and a lot of self-doubt and a lot of panic and a lot of fear. It hasn't gone away. It still is very much there. But I've learned that I work better without a net, I guess, is a way of summing it up. And what I mean by that is when I screw stuff up, which does happen, it happens, I'm not going to say fairly, or yeah, fairly on occasion, whatever. I'm pretty good at preparing for things. But if I know I only get one take, meaning it's live, so I better do it right, I tend to do better. If I sit and record stuff, it takes me 48 takes to do stuff. It's not good. And so there's that. Something else that I learned about myself is, so here, coming up, I'm going to not self-edit. So if you're at work or you have little ones around, maybe turn this part down. But I can be a bit of a dick and an asshole to people when I'm getting ready for streams, and I don't like that. And so I've made a conscious decision, and it's been brought up to me by Jess. She's really the only one that really will say anything. But she's pointed it out to me in the past, and I've been working really hard. Like, what I mean by that is I get really stressed right before stream, usually, and I can turn into a serious dick. And I don't mean to. And I'm just rude, and that's not good. And so I've made a conscious decision to be a lot more aware of the way I come across to my friends. And I don't want that. And it's just my stress materializing in that way. And I think I've changed that for the better. So there's that, which in turn has helped me deal with stress outside of the show a little bit better as well, because then it makes me more aware of myself and how I'm presenting myself to other people. And so I don't want that to be a bad way to come across. And it's not like I get barky. Like, hey, I need you to do that. And that's not the way to talk to people. Don't do that. Shame on this guy. So I've made a serious conscious, been very aware of that, I think is a better way to put it. And I've tried really hard to not be that and to be a lot more, if not mellow, because Jess likes to tell me I don't have an off button. Like I'm full on all the time. And so I still am, but just the way I come across to people, I hope, is a lot more considered and considerate, I think. So there's that. What else? I mentioned I have good instincts, like with the studio here. This is all winged, like complete. I'm not a college graduate. I never went to college. I'm a Marine. I don't know anything about film. I don't know anything about lighting. I don't know anything about cameras. I don't know anything about anything. And it's a lot of trial and error. And it just so happens that I guess write a lot. And for the stuff that I don't know, one other thing I've learned is I am a huge control freak. And I really hate delegating control of anything that has to do with heavy cardboard to anybody else. And that's really been hard for me to deal with and to learn how to do, but it's important. And to ask for help. That also has been pretty hard for me to do. And there are times I forget to do that and still try and take on too much. But being appreciative, though, that's never been a problem for me. So, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff that people would be able to chime in that about the show, but yeah. Then I really like this. I enjoy interacting. I enjoy this more than I enjoy anything else about heavy cardboard. That's something else I've learned, that the interactions between y'all, whether it's viewing live, so there's a back and forth. Even though I'm looking at a camera right now, I feel like I'm looking at y'all. Y'all are looking at me. It's a conversation, albeit a little delayed, but you get the idea. Or when we're at conventions and meeting folks. That's the pinnacle of this, and it's my favorite thing. I absolutely adore that, and I love it. I need it. I crave it. And it's not the attention, necessarily. Although there is some of that. Anybody that says otherwise that is a content creator is a liar. There's got to be some level of narcissism for those of us that publish anything. Because if not, why the hell are you hitting publish? Why are you hitting record? Why are you hitting go live? There's always some level of that. But just the interaction and being able, in a stupid, tiny little way, to help people. Because I like to think that this helps. Look, I'm not curing cancer here. It's board games. I get that. But I don't know. Helping you guys make good decisions. I think that's cool. That helps you save money. I know a lot of y'all are going to blame me for spending a lot of money, but at least you're picking the games that you want to play. So there's that. But the other thing is, honestly, my struggles with mental health and everything else, I've heard from some folks that that's helped. So, yay, right? So I like teaching and I like helping. I'm a pretty nice dude. Yeah. It's taught me to get thicker skin. It's taught me that the overwhelming majority of people are awesome. And there's always that 10%, but even of that 10%, there's a subset of people that are just legitimately terrible human beings. Terrible. Both in the industry as well as just gamers. And it's unfortunate. I mean, that's the case in all walks of life. And trying to tune them out is hard, and it's just something I struggle with every day. But there's way more positivity than there isn't. So I'm still learning to try and focus on the positives. So that's probably the biggest thing still to get the handle on. And how to run a business. That's something I suck at, but I'm trying to get better. So there you go. That's a long answer. Hopefully, I'm sure there's more, but that's a decent start, I think. All right. Anyway. Did I ever get to play Terramara again? Nope, not since our stream. Was it the stream where we talked about how we liked it more the second or third time we played it? I haven't gotten back to it. I can't remember if it was the podcast or the stream that we did for it, but no, it was good. Not great, but it was good. Will I ever cover TI4? If I get a copy, it's possible. And when I mean, doesn't TI4 need a bunch of people, like 7? Am I thinking of the wrong game? I know Struggle of Empires. Yeah. But no, I maybe not. Maybe it doesn't need that many. Somebody can correct me on that. Where did I put it? Oh my God, it should be. Oh, it's right there. Hold on, I'll go get it. Give me a second. I'll answer that question, Shrek. All right. So Shrey asks, what is the golden... Oh, the golden key. Oh, God. I can't read. What is the golden... So, my bad. I read it as golden elephant. Come on. There we go. All right, my bad. What does the Golden Geek Award feel like? First off, I didn't know this existed. Like, the actual medal, I got 2 of them for winning Best Podcast 2019. There are some people that were really pissed off about it, and I loved it. It's heavy as hell. Like, Yeah, it's solid metal. It's gold. You guys can see. So there you go, right? Golden Geek Award 2019. Best podcast. Little BGG neckband. It's heavy. I mean, yeah. Like, I feel like if I were to actually wear it like this, I feel like, Flavor Flav, right? With the clock around his neck. So, yeah. It's got some pretty good heft to it. I'm not going to try and put that up there, back up. I apologize. Yeah, there you go. It's heavy. Next time you're over, check it out. Genway says, Formosa tea, I'm from Taiwan. See? Yeah, there you go. Wow, I'm way behind. Kelly says, I love Maracaibo, but agree, it didn't really match with the finalists. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I mean, right? I mean. Tropical Penguin, just ordered BIOS Origins 2nd edition due to your playthroughs. Can't wait to have it on table. I'm still wanting to play it more. That almost never happens. I cannot stress that to you guys enough. Usually, when I'm done playing a game, I'm done playing a game. Like, we can put that aside for a bit. I can't wait. I want to play more BIOS Origins. Martin says, I think I mentioned Maracaibo very briefly, giving it as an example of an ill-focused game. I don't know. Well, it's got a lot of moving parts, but so do Vital Lacerda's games. And I like a lot of those. So I hear you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Nope. Wow, I'm way behind. And I lost my spot. Hey, there we go. All right. See? Case in point. Ultimate Ace. Edward, I just want to say that you made me. I made you spend $400 on Tawantinsuyu. I'm sorry. Wrong game. Whoop. Tsukiyumi. Can't wait for it to arrive. You know, it's funny. I'm glad that the playthrough helped. And it's funny because I've heard people tell me that our playthroughs sometimes turn them off of games or turn them on to games that they weren't expecting, whatever. So all I'm doing on the playthroughs, we're just trying to show you guys the game. Teach it to y'all and show you the game. There are far too many people out there that are convinced that our job as media is to sell you a game. Even on sponsored playthroughs, my job is not to sell you the game. I couldn't give two craps, or one for that matter, if you buy a game. I'm just trying to show you the game, and if it's a good fit, then hey, great. If it's not, great. Okay. I'm not saying you thought you meant that. I'm not trying to convey that. Just, it's funny how many people think that, oh, we gotta, make sure that the publishers are happy. And no! Present the game. Let you make your own decision. Boop. Mission accomplished. The review, my job is to give you my unadulterated opinion. And I think I do so on the podcast. Yeah, mission accomplished, I think. But good. I'm glad you're looking forward to Tsukiyumi. When's that coming out? God, that feels like that was a decade ago. It's hyperbole. It legit feels like it was 2 years ago since we played Tsukiyumi. And I know it wasn't that long ago. I don't think. Was it? Whew. Okay. Jess and Martin have corrected. Apparently there was a brief mention of Maracaibo. All right, thank you. Ultimate Ace. Shocking. It snowed in Canada. Oh, man. Banker Dave's in there. Hey, Dave, miss you. Parts of Boulder burned last night. Oof. Mark Street sent me a text last night of Estes Park. And for those that don't know, Estes Park is a big place up around the Boulder area in Colorado. Gorgeous scenery. And it's where the Overlook Hotel is, which is where The Shining was filmed. I don't know what part of Estes Park burned, but yeah, it was up in flames last night. Apparently the fires are horrendously bad up there, so stay safe, y'all. Goosarino, we just missed Mountain Man Edward. Ask Jess. Jess, do you miss Mountain Man Edward, or do you prefer this? Because ultimately, kind of, that carries weight, guys. Sorry. Oh, alma mater apparently is from the same team as Coimbra. Okay. I'll take that, John. In the award stream, Edward looked like an older Luka Doncic. Player for the Mavs. There you go. I'll take that. I wish I had his bank account, though. Hey, Tony Boydell. Hey, Tony. Tony. Oh, good question. And I don't know. Let's think about this. Edward, what's been your biggest vice during lockdown? Oh, what a good question. My biggest vice. Some seriously weird rabbit holes down YouTube. I spent way too much time watching a lady put together a puzzle last night on YouTube. Fact. $55,000 views she had putting together a puzzle. I love it. That's awesome. Vice, though. Whining about playing poker? Yeah, God, this is terrible. I don't know. Maybe Jess can answer that better. I'll think about that, though. Matthias. And I'm going to butcher your last name because I always do. Matthias Naj. The one who runs Frosted Games. Hi, Matthias. I miss Essen, and I miss your muling service. It gave me a chance to chat with you and have some time off my work. I miss my friends, and I miss meeting people at Essen, and I miss the spectacle of Essen, and I miss so much the meetup. The meetup is supposed to be Friday. It's the pinnacle of the heavy cardboard year. I love that meetup, and I cry every year, giving a little speech at that thing. I miss that. Damn you, 2020. What am I enjoying right now? Peter, well, this is probably an hour ago that you asked that, but if you're asking tea, it's Orange Pico. Moving on to British brunch from Smith Teas later. Best space game in a Euro setting. Like not High Frontier, because that's not really a Euro setting, right? I really don't enjoy Leaving Earth. Space Corp has got to be in there. And forgive me, I cannot think of the name off the top of my head, but it was the space game from Spielworks that had the like 2mm discs that apparently had a really bad follow-up Kickstarter, unassociated with Spielworks, that hasn't delivered. And I cannot remember the name of the game. That was really enjoyable. Oh yeah, Gaia Project should probably be mentioned there too, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, Gaia Project's probably the one. It's not my favorite, but Tropical Penguin didn't ask what my favorite was. Says, what is the best? So probably Gaia Project would be my guess. Solarius Mission. See? Wait, well done, Shrey. Thank you. Yeah, Solarius Mission I really enjoyed. I think I enjoyed Heavy Cardboard's, the heavy variant, the harder, playing that on hard mode. It's not real. We just got a rule wrong that wasn't clear in the rule book, and we played it harder. But, yeah. So there you go. Oh, I have no doubt you would enjoy that, Ian. Not going to happen. I'd love to see you do a week of streams where you run through the BIOS campaign and end in High Frontier. I've been intrigued by that since you're seeing the High Frontier unboxing. I don't think I have that in me. That High Frontier, I'm still recovering from that High Frontier stream. Yeah, I don't know that I could do that. All right. Good luck to your Broncos, Banker Dave. I'm sure it's already halftime of the game, but... Tony says, I shall miss the Spiel meetup the most. Getting drunk with the best people and singing football, ice hockey songs. Yes. Oh, it's the English way of Guy. So it's Guy, not Guy. All right, sorry. Sorry, Guy. Corey, I'm curious to know what your library looks like in terms of storage with so many games. I suspect space comes at a premium. It's like 1/3 closet for my clothes and 2/3 games. And I miss my house. Not gonna lie. I like that library way better. But eventually it'll get organized better. But huge thank you to Jess and Rand for straightening that. I'm grateful. I'm glad they enjoyed that. Whew. It's not neatly organized. It's organized chaos in there. Yeah, Jess says it's a battle of keep cleaning the library. Edward's getting much better at putting things back. 60-second rule. If something takes 60 seconds or less, don't put it off. Just go do it. Do it now. It'll be better, and that has helped. Gooserino, how's your library organized? I'm at the point where my overarching organizing principle is purely what fits where. Pretty much, okay, it's not necessarily set up that way now entirely, but this is kind of my idea of it, is I keep war games, train games, and Euros. Within each of those, I usually do them by either designer or publisher. So like I have a huge GMT area, or a Martin Wallace area, or Uwe Rosenberg area, that type thing. That's kind of how I do it. And then I have like fillers over here. In theory, it's not necessarily done that way, but that's how I like to organize it. And vertical, always vertical. Don't be a monster. Don't storm horizontal. Please, God, don't do that. Monsters. Tropical penguin. Now I'm picturing like a penguin, sunglasses with a Mai Tai. Possibly a pina colada. Just chilling on the beach in a lawn chair. It's hard to look manly, right? With a drinking a straw. Anyway, when will we see Bios Mesofauna? That's the name. I couldn't think of it. Thank you. Playthrough in their medicine game, which is Galenus. There is a good chance that you will see a TTS playthrough of those in the coming weeks, but you're not going to see a physical copy of it until ahead of release. So that's what I will say. Okay, that's tentative where things are. All right. Brianna, we got dinosaur table battles. Oh dear, there was much more table flipping feelings than I had anticipated there would be. From you or Corey, Brianna. Will I be covering Pacific Rails? Yep. Have I had a chance to play Imperial Struggle yet? No. I don't have it yet. I will soon, but no. And Scott says it's the front runner for Game of the Year for me so far. Any chance we see you and Andrew playing it live sometime in the future? I won't guarantee it'll be Andrew. There's a good chance that it will be. But yes, I guarantee you will see that. Yes. Am I keeping my BGG up to date? That is way out of date. That was mean, Martin. Martin says, good question on the library organization. I'd love to know how it's organized, speaking as someone who's tried to find games in there. There's way too many games for the size of space, so that some of them are stacked up vertically. Due to necessity, that's it. But I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to. And then there are like games behind games, which I hate, but there's only so much space in this tiny little apartment. Any news regarding coffee traders? Any chance of seeing a Pax Porfiriana anytime soon? Pax Porfiriana at some point, yes. Coffee traders. Let me check my notes. There is a decent, I would say above 50% chance, but not a guarantee that it's going to be on Kickstarter due to the sheer amount of components. It's not going to be a cheap game. And possibly a Kickstarter later this year. So there you go, Reynold. Oh, interesting. This is actually something good to discuss, Vince. Vince says catching up on chimp mode? Chipmunk mode. This might be out of place. The part of all the Golden Elephant Award finalists said sponsor content. That resonates me. Not anything about integrity or being biased. It's that sponsor content means that the game gets played more often in prep for the stream. The argument follows that the quantity of sponsor content means that it's less likely hidden gems rise to the top. Completely understandable and completely wrong. And the reason for that is there is no more preparation that goes into a sponsored live stream than there is on a regular non-sponsored live stream. The end. It doesn't get more plays. The only exception to that rule would be the harder games. Try to get more plays. So something like a BIOS Origins. I'm trying to think what else from this year. Transhumanity. So let's talk the Ion games, right? Those games are just hard. So before we stream them, we want to make sure that we understand and, it presents well, basically. That has nothing to do with them being sponsored. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look around the room. Trying to see if there's anything like, okay, it's solo, but indulge me. Comancheria. I'm not going to stream that until I am comfortable enough to have it down. Now, there are some exceptions to some games that hasn't been the case, especially with solo games. But as a general rule, if we're going to stream something multiplayer and it's a bigger game, it's going to have more plays on it than not. A lighter game doesn't require as many to prepare for. So it has to do with the weight of the game and not whether or not it's sponsored. So I just want to clarify that. But it's a fair perception, but I want to correct that, okay? But I'm glad you brought it up. It's a fair point, Vince. And I'm seeing chat slower because I talk a lot and I try and answer the questions. Like, I'm only 3/4 of the way through chat right now. Now, it's right there, but I'm not looking at the live chat as it comes up because I want to see it as it comes up in my timeline. I'm just scrolling through it and I want to make sure I don't miss stuff. If you guys are going to take the time to ask it, I should have the respect for y'all to answer your question. That's my thought process. There are others that, nope, we're going to do a Q&A, 1 hour, boom, and I'm only going to get to some of it. I don't like that because whenever I'm on there, somebody else, if I ask a question, I'd like it addressed, right? So I do what I like having done to me, right? Golden rule type thing. Anyway. Ultimate Ace, I'd love to see you guys play Battlestar Galactica or even Small World for a fun stream. I don't own either one of those, but I'd be down for it. I'd try it. Have I seen Aurelian, the new game from Hollandspiel, and are you excited for it? If so, I have not. It looks like a great continuation of the Agricola Master of Britain system. Cool. I have not, but yes, all right. Jason says, I fell down the well on Cole's stuff recently thanks to the channel, so seeing some Oath love would be cool. I agree. I'd love to do it, and I'm sure us and Leader will get together and make that happen. Excuse me. Fourfield says, I'm fairly new to the hobby. Welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Says, I seem to be enjoying medium and heavier weight games the most so far. Welcome. Awesome. Good stuff. I want to buy a space theme game. Do you have any recommendations? Well, before I can answer that, or before anybody else in chat can answer that, how many players do you want to focus on? Solo, 2-player, multiplayer, whatever. What kind of time frame are you looking at? And do you want more simulation or do you want more Euro mechanisms? Or do you want more war game side? Answer those questions, and whenever I get to it, hopefully we'll be able to answer that question for you. Because until we have that kind of information, can't really answer that because that's too broad. Okay? Cool? And also, one other thing, maybe what are some of your favorite, do you want more thematic, like a Fantasy Flight type thing, or do you want more mechanism based? So that'll help, okay? Welcome, though. Woo! Ralm CJ... Ral MCG or Ralm CG says, it seems that some games are reviewed weeks or even months before it's sold to the public. Why is that? Should reviews be made in shorter time, like a week ahead of time? Oh, okay. So if I'm understanding the question here, it's why, and I don't know that you're talking necessarily about Heavy Cardboard and me, but in general, why do some reviews come out weeks or months beforehand. I don't know that they do for us and for reviews. Now, playthroughs do. Playthroughs do to bring awareness to games. That's pretty much it. And get people talking about it in some regards. And just bring it to their attention. Or it could be for a Kickstarter, right? Because Kickstarter, it's before the game even exists a lot of times. Maybe we'll have a prototype. Maybe it's only on Tabletop Simulator. But yeah. So I imagine it can be frustrating, though, that whenever you see a playthrough, you get super excited about a game and it's still X amount of months away. I get that. So why is that? Just to bring awareness to the game is probably the biggest thing. Reviews, though, I'm trying to think. Have we done reviews of any unpublished game more than a week or two ahead? And I don't know that we have. We may have. I genuinely don't know. Someone can tell me if we have. But I don't think we have. I don't think that's a good idea as a general rule for reviews, because we don't do reviews of prototypes. We only do reviews of finished production copies, because part of the review is the component quality and everything else. So, and the rule book and everything else. So that plays a part. So I don't think we do that at all. Thank you. Ruel. I could not think of his name. Thank you. Becca, Scott, Ruel, and Austin all said TI4 was their favorite game. There you go. That was it. Wow, I'm way behind. Ooh. Okay. Thank you, Jess. Gerd, will you be covering 1882 as soon as it was so prominently mentioned during the Golden Elephant discussion? Let me be perfectly blunt about this, Gerd. The answer is probably not. Okay, and here's why. All Aboard Games does not send review copies. Never has. They said early in 2021 they're going to come up with a review copy process or something along the lines of that. But Scott has never worked with us in any way. So the answer is probably no. That's the honest answer to that. Will it eventually happen? Maybe. We'll see. But I don't have a copy. If I don't have a copy, we can't do it, and I'm not going to play it online. Unless we play it just to play it, like not stream or anything like that. So. Genway says, I have to say your channel has gotten me more and more interested in the Splatter PAX 18XX universe. What might be good intro games to get into those? As happens here, I've noticed with Heavy Cardboard viewers. So cool to hear. Splatter, pick one that's available that interests you and go with that. That's Splatter. For PAX, PAX Premier 2nd Edition, yes, or the upcoming PAX Viking. Those are going to be your best two jumping off points. Hard stop. Unless there is a theme of one of the other ones, PAX Renaissance, PAX Porfiriana. I would say those, but those are going to be harder games to get into than PAX Premier 2nd Edition or PAX Viking. And for an 18XX, 1846, 1889, or apparently 18 Chesapeake. I haven't played it, but that's what I've been told. Shrey says he thinks I'll like TI4 more than I expect. Cool. That's good. Genway says, I'm a bit intimidated by the BIOS games. Honestly, BIOS Origins, 2nd Edition, shouldn't intimidate you. Watch the playthrough. Watch that, and that should demystify that game. I think that'll help. Corey says, will there be a Zimbabwe stream with the reprint coming? I'd like to know what I got into. Didn't Jess and I stream that? I think we did already. I think so, Corey. I think so. Hi, Mom Gamer. Carlos. By the way, speaking of which, pause is working. Nope, nothing. Okay, just checking. All right. How is Spiel Digital what's it going to be like? I don't know. I mentioned this earlier. Online cons, don't get them. Although I am going to do a couple of little things here or there, but that's it. Yes, that was a wave to Efka and Elaine earlier, Jason. They're really good people. Vince or Vincent, what did you have for dinner? I want to know. Performance anxiety brings out the weird side of oneself. That's a good way to put it, Genway. Yes. There you go. But still, trying to be very much more conscientious about that going forward. Brianna says, if the greyhound you get is a girl, can you please name her Rita? Not gonna lie, that's compelling. I had a name picked out. Not gonna lie, I already did, but that could happen. I'm just saying that could happen. By the way, speaking of greyhound update, two things. A, Cooper is doing very well. There's that. And then I got a text on Friday that said, stay tuned. I may have an update in the next couple of days regarding greyhound adoption. Super stoked for that. All right. Because Cooper is Jess's dog. Stays with Jess half the time. Half the time he's here, so. Tropical Penguin says, I hope Martin, Ken, and Shrey can soon be back to the table. The rest of them, screw them. Who cares about them? But those three, no, totally joking. Come on. I'm getting a little salty. It's been 2 hours. I'm having a little fun, right? It's entertaining to me. And you guys do realize that some of this is all about just making myself laugh, right? You do realize that, I hope. But no, I hope so too. Realistically, those three are probably going to be three, like I'm trying to think of the panel of judges. You're not going to see Shrey, you're not going to see Ken, and you're not going to see Martin, you're not going to see Mike. You're not going to see Mike for a while. Him and his significant other are expecting here in a few weeks, so that he's been locked down hard because the newborn, which completely understandable. So it's gonna be a minute unless you see him online, but it's gonna be a while till you see them specifically in studio due to their own personal guidelines, if you want to call it their choice, which I completely support. Folks that you will see in the studio, possibly myself, Greg, Jess when it's just her and I, Greg, Alyssa, Jeff, obviously Joe, the Joes, possibly Eric Brocious. I said Jeff, I think. That might be the only list. That might be it. There might be one or two others I'm forgetting there, though, that you might see here in studio with masks on, but that's it. Yeah, it strikes me as weird seeing people without masks on on recordings and stuff on YouTube that aren't like in the same household or whatever. But yeah, to each their own, right? Yeah, and see, Martin just says, I miss HCHQ too, but I fear it's going to be a while till I'm able to return. But yeah, we're going to stream some stuff over Zoom still, so don't worry that you're still going to see these folks. One down. On to breakfast or British brunch. And yes, Vince, one of the next maps we're going to do is going to be Vince's game, his South China Sea Age of Steam map. So. Mom Gamer, so this is cycling back, as I want to do, because I'm always like an hour behind or whatever. Mom Gamer says, it does help, and it helps a lot beyond board games. You've always been candid and honest about everything and being so open about how you deal with things. This is beyond helpful. I'm glad. Then mission accomplished. Because, and I've said this multiple times before, but a lot of media folk, a lot of people that are on camera, let's put it that way, they have two sides. They have their off-camera side, they have their on-camera side. I don't. I'm me. And it just, it's too hard to put on a, hi, I'm, yeah, no. It's just me. Now, there are days that I'm struggling that I do try and hide that a little bit more, for sure, no doubt. But call a spade a spade. I can't, there are some things I can't talk about, but as far as anything that has to do with me, why not? What do I got to lose? And if it helps people out there, where's the downside, right? I can deal with it. I'm learning to. Plus, I will say, Martin, having somebody of like Martin Fowler's stature, being a close friend of mine, has really, really helped. How do you do this with the people that are just horrible to you and just like ongoing, like for years, if not months? It's, and how do you deal with that? And so having Martin as a friend has really helped. And the reason is because Martin Fowler's Martin Fowler, right? Which I had no idea before I knew him that he's kind of a big deal. I see him as he's Martin, my friend, but I also realized that in his realm, he's Martin Fowler. So having that kind of context and him having that kind of celebrity, is that the right word? I don't know what the right word is here. And dealing with the, yeah, just the terrible people that can be out there, helps. And being able to bounce that stuff off of him, and because he is way a bigger deal, and so that helps. So I appreciate that, Martin. Thank you, man. It has really been helpful. So I mean, obviously, all of my friends have. Jess has been instrumental in helping with that, as well as all of my friends, and to be honest with you, the herd in general, right? I mean, I got messages last night from people that saw some stuff that they were like, hey, just want to try and have the positivity outweigh the negativity. And I was like, hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot. That really means a lot. And it's hard sometimes. I'm human. It's hard to remember to focus on the positive people and not just, you know, that one really crappy thing that somebody said publicly or whatever. It's hard to not just focus on that and tune out all the positive. That's really hard to do sometimes. Now, that's not to say to discount corrective criticism, because that's helpful. That's how you get better. That's awesome. I don't want sycophants. But there's that line, right? Where do you draw that line? So it's a constant struggle. And yeah, it's something I still deal with every day. Some days are better than others, but it's getting better as it goes along. So there's that. Thanks to people like Martin, Jess, and a bunch of other folks. So thanks. All right. German asks, speaking of helping with making good decisions, I learned about the great PAX Premiere through this channel, and I'm devastated I can't really order a copy. Anybody know if there's a reprint coming? Do you mean first edition or second edition? I'm going to assume you mean the second edition. And Isn't it available? Question mark, or is it just gone? I don't, maybe somebody out there, somebody can, over here, can chime in with that. Is it gone? I'm sure it's going to get reprinted at some point. So, the industry is full of awesome people, gamers and otherwise. I agree, for the most part. And a small percentage of bad apples. There's probably more than you think, but yes. Yes, I'm always drinking tea on camera. I don't drink coffee except at diners. It's a weird thing I have. I like diner-flavored coffee. And don't tell me y'all don't know what diner-flavored coffee is. I don't want highfalutin coffee. I don't. And yes, I just said highfalutin. I don't want fancy coffee. I want just diner coffee. Now, I don't want it been sitting all day. I love diners. That is probably my favorite type of restaurant. And going to explore diners is one of my favorite things. Breakfast, brunch, that type of stuff. Anyway, tea, yes. British brunch from Smith Teas. No, not sponsored. I asked. I did, because getting free tea would be awesome. Duh. Can't wait to see more info on Carnegie. Let's go look. I need to be careful because using this keyboard sometimes changes the scene that I have up here. So let's look. All right, got it. Ooh. Oh, Carnegie. Artwork by Ian O'Toole. Yay. And it's by Quinna Games. Okay. Become the most important businessman and benefactor of your time. So the mechanisms. Just, again, this is obviously a Spiel one, right? Over on BGG. Action retrieval, area movement, connections, endgame bonuses follow. Like, what the hell does that tell me? Right? And then 10 more. Income. How is that a mechanism? Income. Really? Like, movement points. Okay, that tells me something. Resource to move. So spending resources to move. How is that different from area movement? Or movement points, or... Anyway. Solo. Square grid. That's a mechanism? Square grid is a mechanism? Tech tree. Okay, cool, good. Turn order progressive. Turn order is progressive. Oh, okay. Variable phase order. That's cool, all right. And worker placement, different worker types. That's useful. But holy cow, some of those mechanisms listed on BGG suck, don't they? Like, what the hell? Square grid. What the hell does that mean? Let's click on it. Pieces are placed on a board tessellated with squares, which is used for adjacency and or movement. Okay. How's that a mechanism, though? Anyway, all right, moving on. But yeah, sounds interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. It legitimately is. That looks really pretty. It really looks really pretty. I lost my spot in scrolling. Whew. Ultimate Ace. LOL. Were the Reddit losers upset you won the Golden Geek? I don't know. I don't go to Reddit. Because banned. And screw them. And no, there are some people on the BGG Guild and just their Twitter, whatever. Doesn't matter. Drew says, fairly new to the channel. Welcome. Ish. Since it's fairly new. So it means you've been here a little bit. So hi, but ish, because again, jokes make me laugh. I find them funny. That's what matters. I've been watching your content for a couple months now. Love the stuff you guys put up on here. Awesome, Drew. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I don't care what anyone thinks. It never gets old. Thank you. That's awesome to hear. Gotta open it. Are there plans for a BIOS Earth campaign? Patrick asks, if you're talking about from the beginning all the way through High Frontier. No. There are no plans for that. I'll venture a guess that it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Does that mean that we're still not... This is coming soon, but not in short succession followed by the other. So, I mean, eventually I will have playthroughs of all of them up there, just in different time frames. Shrey's one of the nicest people in the world, right? You guys have seen Shrey on streams here, but Shrey says, on you being not as nice of a person right before streams. Most people's personalities become a bit more abrupt when stress ramps up. It's great that you try to improve yourself. We all should. I absolutely understand when the frustration does come through. I don't call it out because I'm generally a non-confrontational personality. If I can find the right time to talk about it, I will. Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully it's moot. Hopefully it's a cow's opinion next time you come over, and it's just gone by then. So. And Martin says, Edward getting stressed out before a stream is something that doesn't bother me. I sympathize as I get stressed right before giving talks. And that's even a bigger deal, right? Because companies will fly Martin to a country to give a presentation. That feels a little bit, yeah. So I feel you there, Martin. Sorry, Ultimate Ace. When is Tsukuyumi coming out? I wish I knew. He's joking, but yeah, I get it. Patrick says, I feel like you never have felt like a shill when speaking of games. Just someone who very much the hobby and likes the discussion of games. I think so. And I call a spade a spade. There are certain, I am conscientious of my language that I use. And what I mean by that isn't that I try not to cuss too much. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is dumb, stupid, broken, basically, I hate the term trigger, but this is somebody's creation. You should be able to subjectively break down what you don't like about it or what's just bad about the game without being disrespectful, while also highlighting the positives. I don't care how bad a game is. I'm sure I can find something positive to say about it. Something. Because it shouldn't all be one way or the other. Because nothing in life is nothing's perfect and nothing is 100% terrible. There's got to be, there's always gradients in there. And it's important to me to be able to balance that. Now, it might be heavier on one side than the other. That's good. That's how it should be. But I can convey to you that this game sucks without telling you, wow, this is just a piece of crap and it sucks. I know the internet likes that. I know there are certain shows, whether they're podcasts or YouTube channels, that in board games that people love. Oh, I love how real they are and all. I don't know that that's good, because you're crapping on somebody's work. And I can convey to you, wow, this game sucks. It's really bad. I can convey that to you while also being respectful to the creator. What, designer, publisher, developer, artist, all that stuff. I feel like we do a pretty good job of that. And just because I don't beat you over the head, it's like movies nowadays feel like they have to spell everything out for you. And you can't just leave it to the audience to, piece it together. It's like we've been dumbed down. I don't need to tell you, this sucks. I can be like, well, I don't like it, and I don't think this is good, and here's why. And by the time I'm done explaining that, if I've done my job, I then have conveyed to you, this sucks, without being disrespectful. But again, it's 2020 and it's the internet. Who knows? Maybe people prefer that. I'm not going to change the way I do things because I think that's the right way to do it. And I think it conveys the same message, maybe with more words, but it stays respectful, but is also respectful to you, the audience, that I can convey that while not disrespecting the back end. Anyway, I feel real strongly about that. Like that is, I would probably say that is one of the most important things to me, is being aware of the platform that I have and being honest and true to you first and foremost, but also being respectful of the creators, whoever created the game. So anyway, like I said, that's just a really, really important big deal to me. So anyway. Vin says, I keep wanting to play BIOS Origins again, but keep accidentally playing Clinic whenever there's a chance. Hey, play what you dig. It's not like Clinic isn't great. It is. Play what you want. Circling back again, Jess says, honestly, we're always talking about how we can be better humans to our friends, the world, and ourselves, so the stress brevity was part of that. And he takes that feedback seriously and changes. I try. Cheese has been my vice, Tony says. So much cheese. Tea. Okay, if we're going to go that, I have spent more money on tea in the last couple months than I ever have in my entire life because I'm getting into like loose leaf tea. So I still enjoy my bagged tea. I do, because there are times to where I'm like, I don't want to have to steep it. I just want to throw a tea bag in and not have to. But Smith teas and Upton teas, those are the two tea importers. Like, they're not manufacturers, right? Are they? I guess Smith Tea makes their own blends. I guess Upton does as well. Anyway, places online where I get tea. That would be a indulgence, I think would be a good way to put it. So yeah, some teas. A lot of Gen Mitra. Oh, I love it so much. January says, man, it'd be so fun one day to play games with you guys. I'd be so intimidated at the same time somehow. And I'm like, don't be. We're just people. I mean, somebody in Slack, in the Heavy Cardboard Slack yesterday, was like, hey, in the end, I'm just a dude behind a camera that hit record. The end. That's really all I am. Now, there's more to it than that, I get that, but just a dude. You want to play games? Are you an asshole? The answer is no. Come on, let's play. The end. Pretty simple. I've just now gotten to where Gaia Project and Solarius Mission were mentioned, to give you a timestamp. Eclipse, Alien Frontiers, Race for the Galaxy, also good ones. See, Ian drinking a little Darjeeling from Bigelow. All right, there you go. Jess says, hey, Tony, he has no vices. It's insane. He was meant to be straight edge. I have vices. I love playing poker. A lot. But, yeah. If you could pick one game to play right now with real people there, what would it be? What pops into your head? It's funny you mentioned that, but the first thing that comes to mind is this one, which is solitaire. What one game? Just what one game do I? Total brain cramp. Listen to the podcast. I just did this. I just actually, it's been a few weeks since I recorded it, but go listen to the podcast. My Shelf of Opportunity. There's that. BIOS Origins, 2nd edition. I want to play. BIOS Genesis, I want to play. Struggle of Empires, because holy crap, the production on that looked ridiculous. I want to play that. So there's some. How's that? Ah, my nose. A moment. There we go. All right. Alex says, after watching the High Frontier stream, I'm wondering if you'll ever, post-pandemic, do a stream of Civ, Advanced Civ, Mega Civ, Western Empires. 100% yes. However, Western Civ, Western Empires, I can do in the studio. Anything else will have to wait until I move out from this place, because I don't know. I do a very good job of framing here. You see what I want you to see. This room's smaller than you think it is. So we're not going to get like 9 people in. Not happening. Like 5 is pushing the envelope. That's why I was like, Struggle Empires at 7. That'd be tight. So, and by tight, I mean near impossible. So eventually, yes. Alex. Mara. Hi, Edward. Hi, Mara. Hope you're doing fine. Relatively great, all things considered. Sorry if you already answered this, but what are your thoughts, hopes, expectations regarding the virtual Spiel Fair? Like I said, I am going to be on with Rainer from Board and Dice just to talk about what games are you looking. Basically, it's going to be a conversations with Heavy Cardboard, but from the other side to where I'm the guest regarding Spiel. So I'm going to be cramming over the next few days, which I will say, one of my favorite things to do ahead of Spiel is to go through Eric Martin's Spiel list. It's amazing every year. I hope it's still, you know what? Now I'm all worried, like, does he have one for this year? Because, again, 2020. Ooh, game release preview. So I guess that's it. From September to October 2020. How many games are on there? Let me look. 458 titles. That's it? Like, that's it? Really? Is there another one that I'm missing? Anyway, one of my favorite things is go through that. And then I go through and I just go off of gut instinct and I go through it like about 15 times. And then I whittle down my list and then break down for priorities and stuff. And what's most looks interesting and what, after digging into them more. I spend a lot of hours going through that ahead of Spiel. Normally, but that's what I'm going to be doing for a couple days coming up this week. So that's part of the reason there's not going to be as much content this week because of that. So as I said, I'm getting together with Rainer on Thursday, and then I'm going to do a little, Jess and I are going to do a little Haba After Dark. Self-editing right now. Not making the jokes I want to make that we all made. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to do some of that like super late at night on Friday night. Anyway, there you go. All right. Jonathan says, just noticed the earrings before. Very nice. So my earrings here, right? I've had these since September 8th, 2001. At about 4 p.m. You might be asking yourself, how the hell does this guy know that? Well, the reason is I went on terminal leave in the Marine Corps on September 8th that morning. And about 6 hours later, when I went on terminal leave, I went to, where did I get these pierced? Yeah, I actually went to like Claire's or something, I think, to the mall and got my ears pierced because I always wanted them. I couldn't while I was in the Marine Corps. So I got them and then got them gauged out just a little bit. And then one of them lost one of the little screw-on balls on it. And I had to replace it, and they're not identical. They're close, but they're not identical. But yeah, I've had them since September 8, 2001. Oh my God, that's 19 years. Oh, wow, really? Huh, crazy. All right, yeah. Mara, all hail the vertical storage system. Yes. Oh, Tropical Penguin corrects us all. It wasn't a pina colada. It wasn't a Mai Tai. It was a Cuba Libre. Oh, hey. That's what I'm talking about. I was hoping I was going to get one today. And by one, I mean 20. So, cheers, Jim. Thank you for the support. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Woohoo. Play through. Sooner rather than later. Fall, winter time frame. Because I don't know. I know we're in fall, but I don't know when winter starts. So I don't want to. Next few weeks is what I'm trying to say. Mara says we need a scanning app system to manage BGG libraries. We have QR reader, right? Why can't we get somebody? I would pay for this, a barcode reader, to where you can you just boop 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 for all your games, and it just automatically puts it into a database, whether it's your BGG library or something like that. There are so many of y'all out there that write code. Can we please? I'll pay. I'd pay for that. I know I'm not the only one. That'd be amazing. Please. Jonathan, yeah, I just converted to vertical. Having to pull other games off of other games sucks. Yes, see? Exactly. Maddie says, imagine if someone stored their books horizontally. Just madness. Vertical, see? There you go. Reynolds says, hi, Edward. Before Essen, you usually have a list of games you're curious about. Any chance, considering the situation, to have a short list of appealing heavy games to come up with? All right, I'll tell you what. You know what? Into the notebook it goes. Wednesday night. Would that take some of the... I'll tell you what, I am going to make a Spiel list, okay? Kind of like what Rado and I did last year, but it's going to be different. I'm just going to do one Wednesday night. I'll do a live stream Wednesday night talking about games that I'm looking forward to or want to check out. Kind of like there might be as little of, oh, it just sounds interesting. I'll do a stream on Wednesday night of that. But I am going to hold a couple back so that you guys have to watch Thursday. Because, yeah, duh. Even though it's not going to be on my channel, still. Yeah, so there you go, Reynold. All right? Ian says, for storing games vertically, would you recommend bands for boxes or some other way to keep components all over from falling all over the place in the box? Yep, here you go. Here is the ultimate solution. You ready? You ready? There it is. Ultimate storing solution. Bags of baggies. I'm not exaggerating when I say I have about 10,000 bags in this house. Yep. Obviously, stuff like Meeple Realty and other inserts, yes. But you're not going to do that for the majority of your games. So baggies. Everything's in baggies. Sean says, I am excited to see that Splatter is doing a release of a reprint of Great Zimbabwe in 2021. They are taking pre-orders now. Your playthrough pushed me to order a copy. See, I knew we did. There we go. Glad to hear it, Sean. Good stuff. Also, do you know anything about what the expansion will add to the fantastic pipeline? And I hope you and Jess are doing fine. Thank you, Reynald. We are doing pretty great overall. Everything's relative right now, right? But yeah. So to answer your pipeline question, allow me to check my notes. No. I do not. Aaron retracted his message. Okay. I appreciate the effort, though, Aaron. Thank you. Tropical Penguin is not in Puerto Rico. Somewhere more exotic. Poland. I want to come visit your country. That'll happen. Let's assume for a moment, 2021, we can travel. Mexico City, shortlist. I'm getting my damn tacos. Poland and Italy. And Miniature Wonderland in Germany. That's on the short list. Those last three are all pre-Essen. So, you know, in following years. So, yeah. Mara says, I much prefer hearing you go through all the questions. They're all interesting. I agree. And again, if people are going to ask, I ought to have the respect to answer them. Now, I can say this when there's 100 of y'all watching. If this ever were to get up to the point where there's 1,000 of y'all, we may have to make some choice there. So, but as it is right now, not that big. Mara says, you don't own Battlestar Galactica? Heathen. I don't. Never played it. There's going to be a lot of thematic games that I do not own. Sorry. What was the impetus for the change in hairstyle? Jess is like, I'm really liking the longer hair. She hated the faux hawk. Nah, she didn't hate it. Just didn't really like it. I liked it. I still do. But why the longer hair? Something different? It's been a couple years. The end. And it's getting colder. Now, this will always be short, I think. I grew my hair out like scary long after I got out of the Marine Corps. Not a good look for me. But yeah, just something different. And Mama likes it. Patrick, have you ever just stopped playing a game due to not enjoying it? We finished Pangea. That's probably the closest in recent memory. Board Game Frenzy Cafe or whatever with 5 players. That also, but we finished that. There was one that we played over at Joe's that we finished it, but I can't remember the name of it. I think there's been one or two in my life in recent memory. We'll call it in the last 5 years. Probably once or twice, but not often, if it ever. All right? Battlestar Galactica? Aftermarket, $400? No. Why? Is it a licensing thing? Like, why? Recently, I listened to the third Spacecast, and on it, Dan Thoreau talked about playing bad games with his group on purpose, like someone would watch a bad movie. Have you ever played games like that? No. Nope. Well, that's not true. We played fast food franchise, didn't we, Martin? There's a certain contingent of people that really love that game. Martin and I are not two of those folks. But no, I don't want to. No, I want to play good games. No, nope. I get it. I mean, watching the crappy. Yeah, I get the logic behind it or the fun, but no, not my bag. Any plans to stream Imperial Struggle? Yup. When I get my copy and either Andrew or Jess or someone here in the studio, yes. GMT's Pericles. Yeah, that'd be great. Hi Kai says new to the channel. Hi Kai, welcome, thanks. Hopefully you subscribed. If not, go ahead. Oh, wait. Just a little button. Hit the little bell. You get notified whenever we go live in case you missed the weekly look ahead. Go ahead. Good? All right, cool. Thank you for doing that. All right. So, what are the criteria for the games you cover? Only heavier, more complex games? What's considered heavy? Oh, it's a fair question. What gets covered? You asked two questions there. Medium, heavy, war games, 18xx. So that covers what we cover. What dictates it? A number of things. What do I want to play? What does the group want to play? What do we have to play? Whether it's a sponsored live stream or other commitments or something like that we've agreed to. Requests from patrons. The occasional requests from non-patrons. That's pretty much it. That's the games that we cover. All right. As far as what is considered heavy, let me re-ask that question and maybe I can answer it a little bit better. To me, 5 criteria that contribute to a game's weight, right? So rules overhead, how hard are the rules? The decision matrix or the decisions in the game. How big are the decisions? How meaningful, how impactful, how many decisions are there in the game? All that contributes. How much luck or randomness is there in the game? That contributes to it. The game length, because sitting for a 20-minute game does not require as much effort or as much of a skill in a sense. Not that it's a skill, but it's something that you learn to do, to sit and stay focused on a game. A 20 or 30-minute game is different than a 4-hour game. So I think that's going to contribute to the weight. And then the last thing is getting it. How hard is it to understand what it is you're trying to do? Okay, I get the rules, but now how do I actually do what I'm trying to do? So all of those things contribute to the weight of a game, in my opinion. And depending on how a game navigates those questions dictates the heaviness or the weight of the game. So there you go. Hopefully, I hope that helps answer your question for you or anyone else out there. I have this hair that is, yeah. Okay, Vincent, answer my question. Not finally, but I finally got to it. What did he have for dinner? Typical Dutch. Thank you for the translation, because this was going to get really ugly. Potato, kale, and bacon mash and smoked sausage. I have had traditional Dutch food. I thought it was going to be a stemppot, right? Which I had with Joris and Jeroen, and it's delicious. It's basically boiled vegetables and a meat. Doesn't have to have the meat, I guess, but yeah, there you go, delicious. I missed that. That was good. Good fall weather food, isn't it? Brianna says, yay for the Greyhound adoption update. And Rita gets our vote for best name of your pupper. Fair. I was also looking at Mackenzie. I don't like dog names. I like good names. So Mackenzie was kind of what I was leaning towards. I like Rita, but I'll be honest, the Greyhound, the name has to fit, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited though. I anxiously am waiting, like, to get a text. Hey, we have a dog. You want to come meet it? Yes, I do. Yes, I would. That'd be great. How do I keep my tea hot during a stream? Do those thermos cups really keep it warm that long? My tea needs to be hot. Don't like it lukewarm. All right. So Jess was awesome. She bought me, you guys have seen it, the yellow cup, right? It comes with this little ceramic lid, and it fits most of my coffee cups. That helps, first off. That's one. That's for the regular cups. Then this one, Clay actually got me. And this is an insulated cup. This keeps it hot for a while. Like right now, so I've been going now for 2 hours, call it 2 hours, 20 minutes or so. It's still hot. Definitely. So yeah, definitely recommend this. I don't know where he got it, but I'm appreciative. Thank you. Or a thermos, but there you go. Now, the lid here doesn't keep it as hot, but that's why I drink this one first, the thermos one second. There you go. Genway says, wow, I just realized that there's just some brilliant people on your game table streams. There really are. So there's Martin, right? This isn't a discount anyone that I'm not going to name, but you guys can Google this, probably. Joe Rashonanan. I think he has multiple doctorates. Eric Brocious, Joe Huber. Like Joe Huber, like these guys work for, like, it's insane. Some of the stuff. Now, Eric Brocious was, he was the head actuary for one of the biggest insurance firms in the country. It's kind of a big deal, right? I mean, it's not famous, but that's a big deal. Yeah, we have folks that work for Intel, folks that work for on GPS. Yeah, like I didn't realize what Joe did, and that was really cool. So yeah, and there are a lot. We run the gamut, right? I mean, Chris is a doctor. I run a YouTube channel and a podcast. But yeah, really cool people. Jonathan, what kind of sycophant are you? I don't know. What kind of sycophant you want me to be? Oh, I got to find that. Hold on. Where was that? Andrew, diner coffee is the best coffee. I love you, Andrew. Thank you. You get me. Thank you. Oh, I need to look this up. Brianna says, being in or near Boston, jealous of your restaurants, you know, not during the pandemic, though. I remember the Phantom Gourmet on the Food Channel highlighted some cool restaurants. I desperately want to go to the North End. I've never been to the North End. North End is like Italian. Like, apparently there are just a lot of unbelievable Italian restaurants. I've never been brought to the North End, Jess. That said, found an amazing pizza joint near us. Jess ordered the pizza during our High Frontier stream to feed us, and really good pizza. So that was cool. Mexican, Chinese. We got Chinatown here. That's really good. But yeah, we found before COVID happened, we found an amazing Brazilian steakhouse where the majority of the folks that patronize it are Brazilian. Always a good sign. It is not like a Fogo de Chao or whatever. It is sort of, but not. It's a lot more family, like homey. Oh, it was amazing. Can't wait to get back there. Unfortunately, one of our favorite restaurants, Infused Creole, which is a Creole, like a Caribbean food restaurant, closed down and isn't going to reopen because COVID. That sucked. But yeah. Yeah, and Cole did mention Pax Pamir is going to be, he's going to try and keep it in print, right? So, in time. So there's that. Well, all right, hold on. Hey. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the support. Cheers. Thank you. And on that note, there was one more, I think. Yeah. There we go. Mom Gamer. Cheers. Thank you. Really appreciate the support. Thank you. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's a good Sunday. Aren't all grid squares. Thank you, Vince. You right? That's right. Yeah, the Carnegie BGG listing. Not very useful. Thank you, Junaid. Said, really enjoyed the Golden Elephant Award stream. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Corey, thank you. I appreciate that. And Shaz says, I feel like overhyping is much more of a thing in the industry, not on heavy cardboard, but on others, than over-criticizing, but might just be what I've seen and heard. No, I think that's totally true. And the reason is because the majority of the hobby is done by hobbyists. It's done by people that are fans of stuff. Yeah. And it's funny, over the last 18 months to 2 years, well, I'd say year to 18 months, I've noticed people trying to get into the industry, whether it's reviewing or playthroughs or whatever, that are doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, you. Do what you want to do, right? Make yourself happy. If you want to publish stuff. But doing it for the wrong reasons seems weird to me. Like people are trying to do it to get review copies. Do it because you're passionate about it. It's never going to last. If you don't find what you're passionate about and you're not genuine about it, people can see through that. And I think I think the playthroughs are great. I think there are people that really couldn't care less about me personally, and that's fine. They're here just for the playthroughs. Cool. There are people that really enjoy the reviews. And then there are people that don't care about any of that and just like that I'm real. Which, that's awesome. Cool. Great. And I think people see that or can see through those that aren't. Not always, clearly, but some. And yeah, it's just weird to me that, like, I never got into this for anything other than, oh, wait, there's nobody talking about the games that me and my friends are playing. Okay, why don't I start that? So that's why I started it. And it became this. But yeah, so ultimately, I think there are people that are just want to be excited about new games. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think once you get to a certain point, no, that's wrong. No. Because even when we started, going all the way back to the very first podcast about Madeira, we were critical about certain aspects of the game. And I think you need to do that if you're going to be taken seriously and you're not going to be a yes man or a yes woman or a yes person. I don't know. I mean, not everything is great. Not everything is fun. Not everything is good. Tell it like it is. Anyway, moving on. Whatever. Mara says, reviewing while maintaining a respectful language and decency is the core reason why I choose your channel. Very detailed, very experienced, but never resorting to cheap tricks. Mission accomplished, then. Yeah, that's that sums it up really well, Mara. Thank you. I appreciate that, because that's what I strive for, right? I can tell you this sucks without saying, hey, this sucks, because that feels a little disrespectful. Hey, this sucks. But explaining why this isn't good, or why we don't like it, or why it doesn't succeed in what it's trying to do. All right. Anyway. And Andrew kind of piggybacks on that, says, providing respectful and thoughtful criticism is so important and difficult to do. It's always impressive to see you talk about a game you don't like in a way that doesn't feel dismissive. Comes down to respect. I really think that matters. So I don't think it's that hard. But then again, Jess tells me that I'm really weird in that regard, that I see things that seem like just obvious and common sense to me. Not everybody sees it the way I see it. So it seems just, why wouldn't you do that? But then again, there are a lot of talking heads in the news, in media, in whatever, inside and outside board games that don't seem to follow that same ideology. But that's fine. Okay, you do you. Pure puer teas and oolong teas can cost a pretty penny. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, sencha is probably the most expensive stuff, but yeah. Some of the oolongs are nice, but I've been mostly genmaicha and black teas to start with, because in small little sample packs, like 2-ounce little things to where you just get a little bit, but it adds up for sure. All right, Genway says, deal. Once all this is past us, visit Boston, play games with y'all. Absolutely. I've always said, people are welcome. If you're in the Boston area, obviously this is pre and eventually post-COVID, reach out. Dragon says, the way Heavy Cardboard reviews games is one reason I follow the channel. The gushing and or trashing reviews and the ones that try to be too entertaining or of limited use. Ultimately, people need to do what they want to do. This is just the way I choose to do the show. But I appreciate that. Thank you, Dragon. Jess says, I don't think you can call poker a vice when you're so good at it. It's not a vice. It's a hobby that makes me money, right? But yeah, all right, fair enough. Thank you. You're sweet. Alex, just remember, Mega Civ plays up to 18. I know. I've played it at 16 players, 14 or 16 at HeavyCon a few years ago. I know. Oh, yes. Thank you for the reminder, Vince. The Secret Elephant is open. Man, this is such a weird year. Trying to beat last year's registration numbers. So, Secret Santa. Vince runs the heavy cardboard one, which we call the Secret Elephant. Duh. If you guys want to, if you're interested in it, Vince, he did link it, but maybe. Link it, Vince, if you haven't already, or Jess, or somebody. Put a link down there. I think you have to be a member of BGG if you're not already, but I imagine most of y'all are. Anyway, if you want to, just follow through. That's the only thing I ask. Follow through, please. Okay, if you sign up for it, it's about the giving, less about the receiving. So try and be a good Secret Santa, is what I'm saying. All right? If you can't afford it, okay, not a big deal. Don't enter. But if you can, be a good Secret Santa. Also, little tip, if you get an international victim, i.e., your target, consider contacting a local game store or an online game store in their country. That saves a ton on shipping, which means you can spend more on their games. So definitely recommend that. And I always struggle on whether or not to enter it because I feel bad for anybody that gets me. But I would say don't limit it to games. I like tea. I like surprises. Just saying. Yes, and Vince does an amazing job running the the Secret Elephant. So thank you, Vince, for doing that. Thank you very much. Genway, thank you very much for that. I appreciate. Says, love your honest candor in these discussions. Thanks. Sent over $4.99. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Corey sent over, what was it? I missed it earlier. I apologize. $1.39 Canadian. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. All right. Monica, do I play solo? Can you name 3 games you enjoy very much playing solo? Yes, you should go, when this is done, Monica, and go onto the playlist down below or on the channel. And yeah, a lot of playthrough, a lot of solo playthroughs, especially lately. Name 3 that I enjoy a lot. Nemo's War. I enjoyed that quite a bit, even though I've been hearing in the comments how badly I butchered it, apparently, which means I got to do it again. So I'm okay with that. Tales of the Northland, Sagas of Nog and the Nog. I loved that solo. And off the top of my head, let me see. The Gallerist, I think, was fantastic. The best of all of Vital Lacerda's solo games. There are others that... Tawant and Suyu was a blast yesterday, during the afternoon, whatever. Still on the table here. That was a blast as well. So there's 4. Bonus. Which I'm terrible at these off the top of my head. So the fact that you got 4, that's pretty good. And how big is my shelf of shame? Go listen to the last podcast that dropped last week. The entire episode is about my shelf of opportunity. There you go. Now you've made your first solo podcast. Oh, I've done more than one. I've done a few of them. Something you were hesitant to do. Was it, how was it for you? Many retakes? And can we expect more solo podcasts? Yes, you can expect more solo podcasts. The podcast has not become a solo podcast, meaning just one host. But yeah, I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'll be honest. I don't know how much feedback I've gotten on this one, so I would like to hear. And I'm not saying necessarily right now the second you can, but like if you're in Slack, let me know what you thought of the podcast. If you're in the guild over on BGG, let me know what you thought of the podcast because it's been crickets in there. Now, granted, it's the weekend, so the weekend tends to be less talkative than during the week. So maybe that's why I'm being patient. But I don't know. What do you guys think of the podcast? I would like to hear feedback. Again, be honest. It sucks. I don't want to hear about games you haven't played yet. Okay, that's fair. But I don't know. Plus, it was the first podcast with the new editor, audio editor, podcast editor. Let me know what you thought. Be honest. Always be honest. Oh, very next post, Genway. I liked your Shelf of Opportunity podcast discussion. Yeah. My bad. Jumped the gun there. Thank you. Any theme or mechanism you like the most? Auctions and worker placement, dice placement. Those would probably be my favorite mechanisms, but there are a lot that I like. I like the I cut, you choose. I think that's really clever. I mean, the merger mechanism in Indonesia is fantastic. Any specific theme? No, just something unique. Like the cost. I thought that was fantastic. Asbestos, mining, and production, and the human cost that's involved in that. That's amazing. Yeah. Tropical Penguin says we have 2 available guest rooms and we live in Krakow, most beautiful city in Poland and close to some UNESCO places such as the biggest European salt mine, Auschwitz, etc. So feel invited. And we also play BIOS and Age of Steam. Book. Done. All right. Yeah, absolutely. When we're going to be coming to Poland, we will, and you hear about it. If I don't reach out, please do so. That's amazing. Thank you for the invitation. Brianna, talking about, have you ever quit? I'm curious, have you ever quit a game? Like, and you're like, not just you, but I'm saying collectively, the group playing the game. Have you ever quit a game? Like, partway through, just been like, no, nope, nada. And Brianna says, we packed up 2 games mid-game. We just knew the second we knew. Fair. Are we ever going to get to see a completely shaven, clean-shaven Edward? I wonder what it would look like. Probably not. Probably not. And Jemway asks, I wonder if being a content creator in the industry changes your view of the fun factor of the hobby. I mean, in some regard, it has to, right? I don't get super excited about new games coming here because that's work. But I mean, I do get enjoyment out of it. I still enjoy. I love doing this. Let's be clear. But my enjoyment has come a little bit different. I still get excited about learning new games. Sometimes more than others, true. But I would argue that's probably the same for all of y'all. Like some games are more exciting that you get and you're looking forward to learning more than others, right? What else has changed? I still love playing games. But probably just the excitement of like unboxing them. Unless I'm doing an unboxing for the show, I'd much rather let somebody else unbox it. I'm okay with that and punch it out and yeah. And I know a lot of people really enjoy that. I don't. That's about it. One fun thing that is added because of the show that most people don't get is when I've done a good job of preparing for it and I'm not rushed or I'm not super stressed or whatever, trying to fit a game onto the camera and presenting it in such a way that it's going to show well. The challenge that presents sometimes can be fun. Sometimes it sucks. Like I hated it for High Frontier just because I have 7-foot ceilings in this studio. And so the camera is lower than I want it to be. So therefore, I couldn't zoom it out far enough to get everything in the shot. So there was a prodigious use of the PTZ camera, which is the point of having the PTZ camera. But I was frustrated with that. That was not a fun process. But there are other games to where I'm like, how am I going to make this all fit? Okay. So once I think I know, or when I unbox it or something, like not right before stream, right? But I might contact the publisher or the designer or whatever. Say a game plays 2 to 4, right? Or maybe it has solo, whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a multiplayer stream. And I ask them, I said, because maybe I've set it up and I'm like, man, trying to get the chat, the cameras, and 4 player tableaus is really going to be a pain in the butt. And wrong phrase. It's not going to show as well, I think is a better way to put it. So I might reach out to the publisher or designer or developer, whoever it may be, and be like, what's the best player count to show the game? And they might say, oh, it plays great at this or this, or no, ideally it would be this number. And then there might be some discussion about, well, I think this, because of the way it looks on camera or what. So that puzzle aspect of it, I really enjoy sometimes. A lot of time, I would argue, unless yeah, I mean, I'm human. Sometimes it's less fun than others. But yeah, so there you go. But in the end, I love playing games, and I love learning new games. So going strong, feeling pretty good about it. Todd, sorry, just joined. That was probably an hour ago, but all right, Todd, welcome. You made it. That's what's important. Thank you. So sorry if it's been asked. It hasn't. When's the next session at 18XX with the 18XX Savants? I'm really enjoying them. Me too. It's a shame I'll never play 2038 again. I mean, I beat Joe Huber, and I beat Joe Rishonanen and Jeff. Understand, it's not giving Jeff short shrift. He just isn't at the same level as those other guys. But I beat them, so I'm retired. Bummer. I'm kidding. There's nothing scheduled right now, but it'll be hopefully sooner rather than later. But nothing's on the immediate schedule right now. And like I said, they're the ones that reached out about 2038. So we'll see. There will be more, though. Don't worry about that. Martin says, fast food franchise. I played it once. Could do with playing it one less time. I agree. That was not a fun time. I just don't get the appeal of that one. I'm sorry. What's up, Krasimir? How you doing? Good seeing you on here. Oh, there we go. Lost my spot again. So I highlight them so I can see if I lose my spot. Anyway, you guys don't care about that. Trey says, I'm not sure you actually played fast food franchise, Martin Fowler. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, that was a bad experience. Alex asks, have I ever played or looked at Merchant of Venus? I know about Merchant of Venus from Eric Summerer, right, over on Dice Tower. Never played it. I've seen it, and I know it's a pick up and deliver. There's the extent of my knowledge about it. Any thoughts? 2 luck. I don't know. I'd play it. I'd totally be down to play it. Don't own it, but I'd be down to play it. Not yet, Caroline. Caroline asks, hi, Edward. Did you have an opportunity to look at Lamps Are Going Out? I have not. And in fact, not yet. Not yet. Oops. Plays 2 to 4 and plays solo really well, apparently. So that might happen soon. That's another one. If you'd listen, I'm not saying Caroline, I'm just saying in general, listen to the last podcast. Vincent says, Ask the Elephant's always great to listen to while printing plane. There you go. What are you printing plane, Vincent? Brianna says, I'm Italian. I need to go to the north end of Boston too. Yes. All right. You guys heard this. Jess says, North End parking is the worst. I've heard that you cannot park in the North End. Hard stop. She says, public transportation once the pandemic is over and we'll get dinner. It's a date, Jess. Done. And Jess says, it's an experience, Brianna. Be prepared for, well, a lack of customer service. Heard the food's amazing, though. And Martin says, I am appalled you have not been to the North End. Blame the pandemic. And Mara says, hey, regarding Reddit, do you know there was a major upheaval there that led to a massive mod walkout, and 2 great new board game related subreddits were created by decent folk. One is called r/board games for all with the number 4. And one is called r/board game discussion. Great new places, less traffic, more quality. I heard about the mod walkout, couldn't care less. I'll be honest, like Reddit board games is just a dumpster fire. I mean, it's hard not to sound like sour grapes. It's not though, it's just, it's petty. It seemed like a very petty place, and that's my biggest problem with it. And yes, to be clear, I broke the rules. I asked people to go post or upvote, so I got banned. I was never warned for it. There's a lot of misinformation going on about that. I was never once warned about that, but it's a rule. I broke it. I got banned. I accepted it. Moved on. But I have not gone to the other ones, Mara. I will check them out though, possibly. All right. Vin says, I started hosting a game night at a local bar, which runs Saturday from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then and that's added to a Sunday game day that runs from 9 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. And he says, needless to say, by the end of the weekend, I'm beat. That's too much. Don't burn out. Don't overdo it. Which is a long way of saying it might be close to my bedtime. It's almost 3 a.m. He is in Shenzhen, right? I think that's where you are, Vince. I never can remember. I know you're somewhere over there. You would think I would remember. I apologize. So get some rest. Thanks for the help. Aw. Mara says, to all the new people around here, whether to the channel or even as patrons, welcome to the herd. 'Tis a lovely place and even nicer now having y'all. That's awesome. Yay. Y'all are an amazing community. Legit. Thomas says, hi, Edward. Hi, Thomas. What was it like during your first Q&As talking about your personal life and other topics other than board games? The first one? I don't remember, to be honest. This is me, though. That's the thing that I think a lot of folks find surprising or don't realize. Like, I'm just being me. I'll be at the grocery store and I'll be checking out, right? And they'll be like, hi, how you doing? And if I'm doing well, I'll say I'm doing well. How about you? And I ask because I care. Or sometimes, I'm pretty shitty. Thanks for asking, though. if you ask, I'm going to tell you. So this is just an extension of that. So the only time I really regret being as open is during the divorce and everything that went on with me and Amanda, because the majority of the truth of things didn't get out, and that was a very poor choice on my part. And I still to this day kind of pay the price for that because the truth is not widely known, but that's okay. And it made me a little bit more reserved, a little bit. I still am pretty open with you guys, but some of it, less so. But yeah, it's just me being me. It's the way I know how to be, and it's just easier. It's a whole lot easier for us to have this conversation with me just being me instead of being all phony. So. Sean says, back in the day when he lived in Jamaica Plain, when he lived in JP, spent many a day in the North End. Oh, good. And Vince linked the golden secret elephant. Whew. And Alex says, honest, detailed, thoughtful criticism. Sadly, for a lot of content creators, it's more about being a personality. Several gaming vlogs, it feels like people trying too hard to be interesting. Yeah, I'm just being me. If you like it, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. I'm not for everybody. As Jess says, I'm full on. So, I get it. Espen, good evening from Norway. Well, good afternoon from Boston. Cheers. Cole says, I got my secret Santa, or my secret elephant, the zombie Age of Steam map. That's Detroit, right? I think. Got him that map last year and he loved it. See, that's what I'm talking about. There you go. Oh, Corey, it was one of the YouTube stickers. Thank you, Brianna and Corey. Appreciate it. Corey says, Edward, one thing I realized about your shelf of opportunity. You're playing most of the games I'm interested in, so thank you. Still love the podcast. Good. All right. Glad to hear. And Sean says, thumbs up for the Gallerist solo. Only way I have played it, as I bought it during the pandemic. I look forward to playing it with friends. Working on that now with my Bubble Gaming group. Awesome. Good stuff. Oh, and Rich. Nice. Thank you. Says, I enjoyed the last podcast and thought the musical interludes between segments was a nice touch. Thank you. Good. I'm glad. I'm sure Greg will be happy to hear that. Corey says, I can't stop thinking about Beyond the Sun, and I don't usually gravitate to space games. You convinced us with the search for Planet X, and probably with Beyond the Sun also. Yeah, and it was funny. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about how some folks thought the artwork was terrible or it just looked bland in Beyond the Sun. And Jess and I thought it looked amazing. Thought the fact that all the information is super clear and then all the other artwork around it looks nice and it fits with the theme of it. I thought it looked great. But anyway. Oh, is that the salt mine near Krakow that inspired the game Magnum Sol? Which, by the way, I played Magnum Sol, really didn't enjoy it. I've heard that the expansion, Muria, really improves the game. I have it, haven't played it yet. Just tangent. And Mario says, yeah, we've definitely quit games before, but only after making sure we didn't get the rules wrong. And that's a key. That's why a lot of times when we play a game and we're all around the table going, yeah, really? I usually think we're playing something wrong. And so we'll try and do it again, making sure that we, ensure that we got the rules right. And if at that point still doesn't probably gonna bail on that. But took me 4 or 5 plays to actually enjoy Age of Steam. Matching the player count to the map, so key. Eric says, I played La Cita, partway through, got very angry at the rulebook. I think I'm getting relatively close to caught up here. Monica says, unboxing is part of the game for me, which is fair. It's for a lot of people, but at this point, for me, less so, which I think is understandable. Krasimir loves the smell of fresh ink and sleeving cards. The problem with, for me, for sleeving cards is glare, right? Because studio. And Mom Gamer says, I enjoy watching your teaching of games. It makes it easy on me because I do that while maybe cooking. I'd rather read books if I'm sitting for a read rather than read a rule book. Fair enough. Good. Continue. And I'm glad to keep you company in the kitchen. I love cooking as well, so yay. Yes, Samuel, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Alex says, talking about your schedule, how far out do you schedule games? How flexible do you keep it? It varies. There are times, like this week, right? I have a couple of things scheduled, but it's pretty open. There are other weeks that are booked weeks in advance. So it varies. It really, really does vary. In a perfect world, I would like to have a schedule out 2 months. But there's always going to be flexibility. Somebody gets sick, they can't make it to a stream, or a schedule change, or a partner has a game pop up. Oh, normally I ask for 6 weeks having a game 6 weeks beforehand because scheduling. Sometimes it shows up a week before. So, yeah, there's flexibility. And, yeah, so sometimes it's, oh, I'm going to schedule it 2 days before the weekly look ahead. Hi, this week. There are other weeks where it's months out that I've scheduled it. So, it varies. Kevin says, I enjoyed seeing you on the launch stream for Veiled Fate. It was fun to see so many board game YouTube folks together. That was fun. I really enjoyed that, and I was so pissed off that I lost. I really thought I had a chance. I knew that Becca was, what was it? I guess that was like light blue, or I forget what color it was. Yeah, that was frustrating in a good way, though, the kind you want in a game, right? We're actually going to be doing Veiled Fate in the studio here this week, so that's coming as well. And Vince says, I thought you were going to bed, Vince. Just saying. You said you had to go to sleep. You got game day tomorrow. Priorities, man. But I appreciate it. Vince said, as mentioned on your conversations with Jeroen and Joris, their duck dealer is Splatter's take on Merchant of Venice. Merchant of Venus. Very different game. When they said that it piqued my interest. Fair. I'd like to try them both. I haven't played Duck Dealer. By the way, how awesome was that? How great does Horseless Carriage sound? Like, I'm seriously chomping and champing at the bit to play that game. Both. That's how looking forward to that I am. And number 2, that was a record breaker. It was the biggest live concurrent viewers in the history of Heavy Cardboard. 2nd, Golden Elephant Award this year. 3rd was Root. I think it was Root, right? Yeah. Yeah, it was Root. There you go. Or was it PAX Premier? It was one of them. The one with Cole here in studio. Those are the top 3. So that was cool that 2 of them have been in the last week. That's awesome. Thank you. Oh, Joe Huber really likes Merchant of Venus. Good to know, Shrey. Good to know. Negreanu or Polk? Neither. They both kind of... Doug Polk. No, he's wrong. Really? You need cheat sheets to play poker? Really? Stop. And Negreanu? Negreanu is really trying to cultivate some sort of persona that just doesn't seem real. So neither? Yeah. Couldn't care less about that challenge. Could not care less. On that note, I have played a session in person with oh God, can't think of his name. Oh my God, Clay Aiken. I can picture him. Another nosebleed player. Played 5-5 PLO one night with him, Vanessa Selps, Andrew Roble, and a bunch of other folks doing shots at the table. Just for those that don't know, this is poker talk. People that play or played nosebleed stakes, like I cannot. Why can I not? I can picture him. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he had just lost the $250,000 in Bobby's room earlier that day and just wanted to mess around, do shots, and screw around playing 5-5 PLO, which is $5 pot limit Omaha, the blinds. Phil Galfon. There you go. That's it. And he was like, hey, anybody want to play? And I was like, and it was Andrew Roble, who plays as big a stakes as there are in the world. And Vanessa Selps also was one of those players. She retired, but nonetheless, was playing 5-10 no limit with Vanessa Selps when Andrew and Phil Galfon walked into the room and asked, and I was like, I'll play, because I'm never going to be able to have a sit with that group because I don't play that level. And so that was a surreal night. And it was with my roommate at the time, Asani Fisher. And yeah, Asani crushed in that game. And yeah, I think I lost $500,000, which at the time really wasn't a big deal because that was like a buy-in at 5-5 PLO. But to be able to sit with that lineup and do shots and just sit around and drink and just chew the fat with some of the biggest and best poker players ever. That was pretty cool. That was a fun night. That was a lot of fun. Krasimir, few hard weeks at work. Cannot even spend 10 minutes to look at the weekly look ahead, but it's Sunday today. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Krasimir, and take a little time for you. Don't forget. And hope it eases up at work. All right? Take care. But thanks for making the time today. Oh, all right. Vincent's print and playing your 1830 BC. So that I will move there we go. That. Cool. And Vincent, the reason, do I know that there's no playthrough to be found online of the game? Hint, hint. There's a reason Ethan Millay, I asked him to send me his copy of the game so we could fix that. Yes, I am aware of that. Thank you. Hey, Michael. Michael B. Is that Michael Brandt? Is that? Or is it just a different Michael B? Oh, nice. Very cool, Vincent. Have fun with that. Aaron, any thoughts on Jason Dinger's Crescent City Cargo Currency on Kickstarter? Captains of the Gulf sequel. I'm curious about it. Surprised we didn't get sent a copy ahead of the Kickstarter, but it's being run by Indie and not by Spielworks, so I don't know. But yeah, it looks interesting. That's about it. Oh, Thomas. What currency is that? I need to look this up. Oh, it's a Danish krone. Thank you for that. Cheers. Thank you. Says, here's the you being you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Did I enjoy the honey? I loved the honey. I actually gave a shout out, Aaron. So Aaron, him and his family runs a farm in Ohio, and they make their own honey. In fact, Jess is under the weather, so I've been making her not a hot toddy because she didn't want the alcohol, but I've been making her tea with lemon and your honey. So thank you for that, Aaron. It's Schmidtken's Farms, I think, in Ohio. I'm getting that right. So yeah, definitely enjoy that. So thank you. Yeah. Glad to hear the podcast again. Keep them coming. I'm going to. Now that we have a podcast editor again, they're coming. What did I think of Ride the Rails, Edward? If I remember correctly, you guys did not have a roundtable discussion after the game. You are correct. We did not because it was a sponsored live stream. What did I think of it? I enjoyed it. It's a winsome, right? Esque. No, I think. I can't remember if it was an original or not, but I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but it was fine. It was enjoyable. It's the type of game to where I probably would never say, oh, you know what I want to play today. But if somebody said, hey, y'all want to play Ride the Rails? I'd be like, yeah, let's do that. So that's kind of where it fits. All right. Morning, Luke. Australia in the house. Cole said, there are definitely games I wish we just stopped playing midway through, but they were at cons. I didn't want to ruin the experience for the other players playing. I've run into this as well, and I've also run into pitches that I was like, yeah, sure, give me an elevator pitch of a game. Jess has told this story before, and I forget who I was with. It was with another content creator. We were trapped, and this became like a 20-minute. And at some point, I was like, thank you, I gotta go. It was that was the most painful thing I'd ever experienced. In in situations where you couldn't remove yourself without, being a douche canoe. That was hard. That was, oof. Oh, that was rough. Mara says, okay, one last one. Indulge us. What comes to mind if you're asked about the lousiest rule book you ever came across? Roosh your fart from Spielworks. How's that for off the top of my head? And there's one other, and I can't think of the name of the game, to where literally you can't play the game from the rule book. Makes no sense. I can't remember what it is, so it doesn't really help. But we'll go with Roosh your fart, which is the original in the Cole trilogy. So I'm glad that game got a reprint and a new rule book, and there's a playthrough of it. Corey, when are we going to see this Glory to Rome Blue Sky stream? We pre-ordered that spreadsheet immediately. I don't know. Probably in a couple weeks. Sounds right. I don't want to do too many. Probably in November, because we did one in October already. So probably in November. And only now I see 1830 BC behind me. Yeah, see, it's hanging out right there. Brianna says, I came up from the stream. Corey had some work to do, and I said, buy this now, regarding Blue Skies. That's funny. Nice. Ooh. ETS Harry, or is it ET Sherry? I'm going to go with ETS Harry. What makes a game feel deep for you? Stream of consciousness here, all right? So without thinking this through too much, so as we go. A game that after I've played it, I feel like I'm just scratching the surface on what the game provides. Different avenues, different directions I can go, different strategies I can employ. I think that's probably it. Like, I'm trying to think, like, the first thing that came to mind was like a Pax Transhumanity. And how there are so many different ways to go about manipulating that game. And yeah, I think so. I think after I'm done playing a game, when either you're talking with the people you've been playing the game with, or maybe it's on the drive home or later on that night or a couple days later, whatever, and you're thinking about the game and you're like, oh yeah, I could do this, or what about this, or even during the game, right? So multiple paths with meaningful decisions. I mean, this sounds like tagline type stuff, but it's true. I want a game is going to feel deep when after I'm done playing it, I'm like, oh my, there's a lot of different directions I could go with this. And so there you go. I think that's probably the main thing that comes to mind with that. All right. Splatter cocktail hour. Well, that was a conversation. Those are different. Now, I realize a lot of times they seem somewhat similar, but no. Cocktail hour and conversations with heavy cardboard are different. Conversations are interviews, right? Cocktail hour is, we're just going to hang around and talk and whatever. Like, there's no direction. Like, it's just wherever it's going to go, it's going to go. And usually we have a cocktail. But I understand what you're saying on that, Aaron. Any more cocktail hour or conversations planned? I don't have anything scheduled right now, but yes, there will be plenty more in the future because that's one of my favorite things to do. I enjoy those. Good to see you, Jose says. Good to read that. Good to virtually see. So cheers. Thanks, Jose. Dimitri says, hi, Edward. First time having the chance to join an online vid. So welcome live, Dimitri. Love your work, the way you share your passion to heavy games. Always a pleasure to learn rules through your channel. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that you guys find value in what it is I do and you enjoy it. And hopefully I make it entertaining without trying to make it entertaining. Does that make sense at all? I hope. Because I'll be honest, it blows me away that I see comments on some of the live streams like 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 18 seconds. So-and-so didn't do or did do and should have done. And I'm like, my bad. I forgot to pay an extra corn. That's my first thought is, my bad, we screwed that up, or, oh yeah, probably could have done that. Second thought is, dude, that's badass that y'all are watching it that close to notice that. That's amazing to me. That's amazing. Third thought, and this one actually just popped into my head right now, and I would argue this feels as good as anything else. The fact that you can tell. That's a credit to the quality. And that feels really good because to look at where the show was down in the basement and you look at where it is now, and the fact that you can tell. You can see things that clearly. Just the quality of the stream, right? That you can tell, oh, so-and-so didn't pay this or paid that, and you decided you changed direction and forgot to take it back or whatever. Whenever we make mistakes, especially from a component standpoint, right? You overpaid, you didn't pay, you whatever it is. The fact that you can tell that. That's important to me because there are other streams out there and other people that do or try to do what I do that you can't see the game as well, or that they're all about the entertainment and less about the game. I want to provide the information for you guys first and foremost, and the entertainment secondary. Hopefully it's not dry as a bone. And so, but yeah, that means a lot that you guys can tell that. And anyway, don't want to belabor it more than I already did. So, different Michael B. All right, well, anyway, still Michael, thank you for joining. Krasimir, would you stream a game made by a fan of the show? Before the pandemic, we did Unpub Day, right? To where we would do an unpublished game that was pretty far along in the development and that trying to get publishers for. So would I? I would take a look at it. That I would promise, but now that doesn't mean send me every prototype under the sun. There's limited hours. But would I take a look at it? Probably, yeah. Would I stream it? I don't know. I'm not saying I won't, but I'm also not going to promise that I would. The game kind of dictates that, if that's makes sense. All right. Kim Dahl, 77. Yito, disasters and hard player interaction or neutral cards and resources. Which style do you prefer when you play? If I'm understanding the question, and if I'm not, correct me. And you know what? I'll let you answer this before I answer so I don't mistake it. Disasters and hard interaction, meaning take that and like random, just crappy things that happen to players, or neutral cards and resources and like less, like heads down or heads up. Is that what you're asking? I'm not 100% sure. So clarify that for me, Kim, and I will answer that. Oh God, I thought I was catching up. Oh, I am. Okay. Krasimir, one more. Shall we see Archipelago and Craftsman soon? Yes, because I have to send Archipelago back to Randall. I owe him his game. I've had it for way too long and he wants to play it. So 2 weeks, you will see Archipelago as long as Randall's okay with that. And Craftsman, eventually. I don't want to put a time limit on it, but possibly sooner rather than later. Luke says, I played Ride the Rails with Ryan Courtney and Tim Kaiser. Basically, Ryan Courtney, designer of Pipeline and Curious Cargo, and Tim Kaiser, developer as well as upcoming publisher or designer. There's a teaser. And said it can be problematic at some player counts. Fair, okay. They can find games they can find bugs in a game quickly. Luke says, all right, that's fair. Martin says, but if you do more cocktails with, or cocktail hour, you actually have to show making the cocktail. I'll leave that up to how to drink. Martin, I don't have room for a bar up here. I'm sorry. I'll just tell you what the drink is. Sorry. Martin enjoys making a good cocktail, which I appreciate. So I understand that. Will you be trying out Kanban EV? Not just that, we'll be streaming it, Thomas. Yes. And ETS Harry says, awesome answer. Thanks. This resonates with me. Good. All right. Now I got to remember the question. Hold on. Let me go back. What makes a game feel deeper? Yes. And Cole says, sometimes when you watch the stream, you can't help yourself but offer advice. Fair. I encourage that. I just have noticed sometimes with solo ones, I should focus less on the advice and more on the game. On solo ones, that's this guy's problem, not yours. Continue with that. The interaction's fantastic. I love it. Especially when you're really rooting for someone. The quality of the stream and teach really shine through then. I appreciate that. Thanks, Cole. And Samuel says, yeah, 23403. We love that you appreciate our grognard comments about rules and that you appreciate that we care about the details of gameplay. That's why I love watching streaming so we can comment live. Understand. That's why I encourage people to watch live. Plus, let's face it, between Christopher and a lot of the Peanut Gallery, you guys catch our mistakes. And let's face it, when you guys are playing games, you make the same mistakes. It happens, right? Oh, hey, you forgot to give a point here. Or, oh, hey, you went one too much. The one thing I don't like, just FYI, is when people say so-and-so cheated. They probably didn't. They probably just made a mistake. But, yeah, the comments live, definitely appreciated. The comments after the fact, appreciated. But understand, especially when I'm making the mistake, like I paid too much, paid too little, forgot to whatever, it's going to happen. I have a lot of balls in the air during the stream. Not making an excuse, just stating the fact that's going to happen. But I appreciate it nonetheless. And just present it in a way, hey, oh, so-and-so cheated. It doesn't really rub me the right way. Whereas, oh, hey, I noticed at this, yeah, okay, all right, appreciate it, thank you. So there you go. Speaking of glare, what are the odds Crokinole gets played on camera? Pretty good, undefined? Pretty good. There may or may not be a heavy cardboard Crokinole board coming soon-ish, thereabouts. So, yes. And Martin, yeah, see, I find it very handy. We have the Peanut Gallery to catch our rules errors. Exactly. And Cole says, I love the Fiddle of Gold. 18xx-ish game where shares of musician souls. I do know that there is a publisher interested in that. We'll see how it goes. I hope so, because I'd like to get a copy of that too. Oh, okay. Kim Dahl says, take that effects and disasters are just feel-good cards. I don't mind that. I have no problem to a point. It depends on a number of things, right? If it's a long game and there's a lot of randomness that's going to just devastate somebody, I don't like that. Like that randomness, a lot of randomness in a long game, I dislike. In a shorter game, I'm cool with. That's fine. But universal things that affect the entire world and all the players, and you're aware that this is a potential that can happen, I'm okay with that. Totally. Or a game like Dominant Species, where, look, a lot of these cards are going to suck. And then they come out. You see them before they happen, and you know that these could happen. They're going to happen, but you don't know where. And you need to make decisions based on that, I'm good with that. Totally encourage that. Totally on board with it. I joke with Richard, you know, he's a self-proclaimed Rado. I'm talking about Richard Ham, a self-proclaimed Care Bear. That's his preferred playstyle. That's perfectly fine. Some games it fits. Some games I want that, take that. I'm okay either way. As long as it fits the game. And it doesn't, I just don't want a ton of randomness in a long game. That's not really good. That's going to swing the game. And the reason somebody wins or loses a game is because of a draw of a card or something really unfortunate. On that note, a game like Civ or Advanced Civ or Mega Civ or whatever, to where now it's a game about trading, like you know there are disasters out there that are going to suck. So you're taking a risk whenever you deal with somebody. I'm okay with that. Even though that's an extraordinarily long game. I'm okay with that. So depends on the setting of the game, the length, and the depth of the game. On whether or not and how well it's implemented. Take care, Luke. Have a good day at work. Cheers, because it's Monday there. Krasimir, I'd take a day off to be able to watch Archipelago live. Thanks for the answer. Okay. So I'll commit to it as long as Randall's okay with it. Not this coming week, but the following week. We'll do Archipelago. Okay? Which would I prefer, dominant species or dominant species marine? Marine's going to be really hard to supplant dominant species. And I don't know anything about dominant species marine yet, so we'll see. But I hope. I don't have high expectations of it. And this isn't to speak ill of Chad Jensen's design. He designed one of my favorite games in dominant species. Duh. But it's going to be hard to do better than that on that, because I think that's a really great game. But we'll see. So, low expectation, high hope, though. So we'll see. All right, hey, we're caught up, and you're welcome, Genway and everybody else. All right, look at that. Psst. Just over 3 hours. That's a short Ask the Elephant nowadays. Which is good, because I'm almost out of tea. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you, everybody who watched, asked your questions, or if you're watching this after the fact, hopefully you guys enjoyed spending a couple hours here. Chilling out, hanging out. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I will be back on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday for the weekly look ahead. I have no idea what's coming this week, except I know we have a Veiled Fate playthrough. I know I'll be a guest of Rainer, All Fours of Board and Dice on Thursday sometime. I'm not sure. Maybe it's 3 p.m. Eastern, I think. Not positive on that. And then we're going to do some Haba After Dark. Jess and I are going to bust out some 2-player Haba games. Games that are good for the parents to play after the kids have gone to bed that are also published by Haba. So there you go. That's what we're doing. Because they asked. And T's a good person. And I'm happy to support. The end. Other than that, we'll see what else. Also, the podcast this week coming up is going to be the Conversations with Heavy Cardboard with Yoris in Your Room from Splatter. So if you missed it live and you haven't watched it here on YouTube, hang out, listen to it on the podcast, or listen to it both if you want to do both. I support that. Give it a thumb down below. Seriously, I took like 3.5 hours answering y'all's question. Give it a thumb, damn it. Subscribe if you're not already, and consider supporting the show over at pledgehc.com. I certainly would appreciate that. I'm going to go watch some football, chill out. All right? You guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday or Monday if you're in Australia or down under. I was trying to include New Zealand, okay? Or, I guess, the Far East as well, Vince. Social distance. Wear your masks. Be kind to one another. Give people the benefit of the doubt. It's not hard. It takes no more effort than anything else. All right? You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.